Good morning, I'm Eric Reeser. It's the 13th day of Winter Olympic competition at the Milan Cortina Games. Norway leads the overall medal count with 26 and in gold medals with 12. Team USA is third in both. The Americans have captured 17 overall, 5 of them gold. This morning at 10:40, USA women's hockey battles Sweden. Winner goes to the gold medal game against either Canada or Switzerland. The U.S. men's hockey team beat Germany 5-1 on Sunday, securing a bye into the quarterfinals. In college hoops, the 8th-ranked Ohio State women's squad blew a 19-point lead to fall at Maryland 76-75 yesterday. Jelani Cambridge missed a 3 at the buzzer. Buckeyes fell to 11-3 in Big Ten play. They'll play at Minnesota on Wednesday. The OSU men's squad's back at the shot Tuesday, hosting Wisconsin. Hear from their head coach today at noon on the Jake Diebler Radio Show. This update sponsored by Germain Toyota. For unbeatable service and sales, visit Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road or online at germaintoyota.net.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy.
Good buddy, Austin Ward.
My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show.
The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
it's a rundown.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
Happy President's Day. Eric Reeser, Ryan Baker rolling on with you for the next 3 hours. Hope
All
you're
that intro and Bo's not even here.
Yeah, I thought last year we would do something when Bo is not here, and then I didn't. So,
okay.
Austin Ward in with us for the next 3 as well. Austin, how's your weekend, bud?
It was fantastic. I have my parents in town for the weekend. They had Friday off at School for Liberty and today off as well with President's Day. So they flew up from Texas, and we gave them some really nice San Diego of the Midwest weather. No snow, melting, rain, warming. So that was good for them. It was great for us to have them around. They're going to be here for one more day before they head home. So it was nice to see them catch up and get around Columbus a little bit.
Are they listening to this?
No, I'd be much more complimentary
I was about
if
to
they
say,
were listening.
Is there a point where if the in-laws or the parents come in for the weekend, you have like a set of days and then it's kind of like, all right, that's enough, everybody. Let's all go our separate ways.
I think my parents are that way.
Okay.
They're like, my mom doesn't want to overstay the welcome. And then they're both retired. They're used to their schedule at home. They don't usually have an 8-year-old running around and getting up extra early to want to play with Mimi and Papa. So I think they probably hit their limit. More so, we have enough space for people to spread out in the house, so it doesn't bother me. They could stay as long as they wanted. In fact, they offered for Valentine's Day. Well, we're here. You guys can just go out and me and Allie and have a dinner or go to a movie or whatever. You got a babysitter here, and we like. Well, you're in town. Like, we're supposed to want to see you, too. Like, you're my mom and dad.
Best intentions, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I was like, nah, we'll stay here. We'll play some games. We'll play some dominoes. Taught Liberty how to play that and it was great. So, good weekend. How about you?
We're 2 nights, 3 days. For
That's it?
Every family member. It's 2 nights, 3 days. Either if they're here or we're there.
Maxing it out?
Yeah.
All right.
And I think that's good it's been healthy for everybody over the last couple of years to keep that the day and the night kind of limit, either if we're staying or if they're staying. Weekend was good. You had a lot in the sports calendar, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it was a really good, this is on in the background kind of weekend. I know we were, your focus is with Ohio State men's hoops Saturday night, but everything else kind of took the peripheral. Olympics. I even got some of the All-Star game yesterday. It's tough for the NBA because I do think this is probably the best format they've used in a couple of years, but trying to explain it, if it takes longer than 5 minutes, you're off to a bad start.
Yeah.
But I think if they figured out this format works well with more than just one game that takes forever that nobody's competitive with, 5 or 6 games that everybody's competitive with. You don't really understand the teams just yet, but if they can keep this going, maybe they found something there. But there's really nothing quite like the Olympics and the competition there. It was awesome for Team USA yesterday to see them get a win over Germany. They never make it easy in the beginning.
Yeah, what's up with that? Can we get some fast starts?
Which I guess I kind of enjoy because, they finish group play plus 11 in the goal differential. Canada's plus 17. So outside of the Canadians, it feels like Team America's off to a great start. It was nice. Zach Werenski got the first goal yesterday. I was thrilled, when he showed out the way he did in the Four Nations. You kind of thought this would be just a repeat of that, and so far so good. They are on to the quarterfinal round. They've got either Latvia or Sweden. That will be Wednesday at 3:10. Sweden, Latvia tomorrow at 3:10. This from Aaron Portsline. Werenski's goal is the first ever for USA by a CBJ player and the first goal by a Jackets player in the Olympics since 2010 when Rick Nash scored in Canada's 7-3 win over Russia.
Wow, what a drought. We've had this conversation before, Reeser, just about Zach Werenski and his place in Blue Jackets history, and he's sneakily putting his way onto the Mount Rushmore of Blue Jackets players and most important players in franchise history. It's just one more piece to the resume here. It didn't come in a CBJ sweater, and obviously he's representing the country more than his franchise that he plays for, but I think he's been more than adopted as Columbus's own, despite his college allegiance.
You can look over that.
Yeah, you can forget about that part at this point. But you just add one more thing where everyone can you'll look at that and say he's making some history for the Blue Jackets. He's representing it at the highest level. He's been awesome. You can't say more than his contributions. And I hope when he gets back over here, and knock on wood that he's healthy when he gets and ready for the stretch run at that point, they can get it back and pick up the momentum that they had when they entered the break.
I think, Austin, I don't think it's sneakily, and I think he's firmly on that Mount Rushmore now.
Yeah, you're thinking right, Bake.
It's Bobrovsky and Rick Nash, and I think those are guarantees. And then I think Z's number 3 now. I think he's the third guarantee, and then that fourth spot you can juggle around. I know he was only 2 years. I'll still put Artemi Panarin on there, but some people may want Boone or Foligno or something like that. But I think Zach's on there, and he's firmly on there.
I don't think we can put Panarin on there, even though
I'd push back and just say maybe because the franchise is only 25 years old, you have a placeholder maybe, and it could be Panarin one year and then Boomer the next year and then Stinger maybe.
Well, I put him there because he's the most talented player that's ever worn the sweater.
That is fair.
And you had your best run of success in those 2 years with him. Again, I think the 3 are firmly entrenched on there with Nash, Werenski, and Bobrovsky. Some people don't agree with Panarin. That's fine. That's up for debate. Only 4 guys ever, Reese, have scored a goal in the Olympics while they were Columbus Blue Jackets. It's Radoslav Suchy, David Vaborny, Rick Nash, who has 2 Olympic goals, and now Werenski. So it's pretty stunning what Zach has done, how just him talking about how they knew that players were going to be the Olympics this year, how much that meant to him, and how he kind of had a plan to get himself there. And boy, has that plan worked out for the Columbus Blue Jackets, because he is a top 3 defenseman in the whole league. It's fascinating watching the Olympics and how much these guys care putting on that sweater, and how physical these games are, how much these teams come out. You talk about the slow starts. I don't think that's an indictment of Team USA. I think that's an indictment of there's 2 teams in that tournament in Canada and USA that everybody's gunning for, and they are getting everybody's best shot. I talked about this last week, Reese. I think it's so cool to see the former Jackets players that you've forgotten about that have returned overseas, like a Dean Kukin, who was a big part of that team that beat Tampa Bay and took Boston to 6 games. Lucas Sedlak, who was a great fourth-line center here for a long time. Calvin Turcoff, who never really played for the Jackets much, but was in the Jackets system for a long time. I love seeing these guys in this tournament. This hockey has been mesmerizing to watch. And, man, Canada offensively is so good. Macklin Celebrini is having a coming out party like I don't know I've ever seen before. Connor McDavid has been great. And Team USA, their blue line and their goaltending is so fun to watch.
Yeah, rooting for the Kachucks is a fun thing.
got to have one
They're
of those.
quality goons.
It won't be as much fun when they return to the NHL level. But for now, yeah.
Right. You enjoy it for the next week.
They're on our side. They can go chirp and they can go check and they can do whatever they want. And that feels good right now. You got to have some of that edge if you're going to make it through an Olympic tournament.
Because 1v2, Canada 1, USA 2. Would they play in the semis if it made it that far, or would it be a gold medal game?
I thought it was set up to be the gold.
That should be the way it is. And it does feel if that's going to be the case, then they'll play Saturday in that gold medal game. But you got to make it through the quarterfinals first. So Team USA will have that on Wednesday. At 10:40 today, USA women's hockey plays Sweden in the semifinals. A cool note about the 4 women's hockey teams remaining, they've all got Buckeyes. When you looked at the roster for Team USA, it also felt like Buckeyes or Badgers.
Dynasties.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. Canada's got several. Sweden's got several. Switzerland has 1. And then the Americans have 3. Yeah, that's a great thing to be represented, not only your country, but your school. And we'll have plenty of Buckeye conversation throughout the program as the head of Ohio State's athletic department likes a plan that I'm not sure we can all get behind, but I'm sure at some point we're going to have to. But first, the Great American Cash Grab, or maybe I'll call it the Mid-American Cash Grab. That's next. Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Sex, intimacy, love. These 3 things are critical to a good relationship, and that's the problem with erectile dysfunction. It often destroys sexual enjoyment and intimacy. It stresses the love between partners, often to the breaking point. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED, you likely know exactly what I'm talking about. But I also want you to know that ED doesn't have to impact your relationship anymore. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're ED experts, with our focus on men's sexual health. We've treated tens of thousands of men and have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. I promise you, if you're like most guys, you can get your sex life back, perhaps even performing like you haven't in years. So if ED is affecting you, it's time to get back to better sex, better intimacy, and deeper love. Call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Why does it matter to members that Aetna was named a Best Medicare Advantage company by U.S. News & World Report? Because they chose a plan that gives them real support, real people, and real care. We show up on calls with members and doctors' offices when needed. We show up with access to convenient care options and coverage that fits everyday life. We don't show up for awards. We show up for you. And showing up for you is how healthier happens together.
Steve here from USA Insulation. Let me ask you a question. Do you know why your thermos keeps your coffee hot? Because it's insulated with foam. So let us do the same thing and insulate your home with our premium foam for only $99 a month, interest-free. The cold weather's here. There's nothing better than sitting in a warm, comfortable home with your loved ones and keeping that cold, drafty air outside. So make the call today, 529-2440, 529-2440 or usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Oh, did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did? Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like Chew This Gum and It Grows New Teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today.
February is Children's Dental Health Month, so make sure you make an appointment for your child to visit an Ohio Dental Association member dentist. ODA member dentists are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care, are bound by the highest ethical standards, and have access to superior ongoing education and training. On your next visit, ask if your child's dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association and American Dental Association, so you know you're being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist in your area, visit ODA.org.
Hi, the Scott Antique Markets are back again at the Ohio Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. The market is one weekend monthly, November through March. Build your family heirlooms. You can find everything that gets old. Just take I-71 to exit 111 to enjoy America's favorite treasure hunt. Visit thescottantiquemarket.com for more information. Come join us at the Ohio Expo Center for the Scott Antique Markets. It's huge. It's the Scott Antique Markets this weekend.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Could see a little bit of patchy lingering fog. Otherwise, we turn mostly cloudy this afternoon with highs in the low 50s. For tonight, partly cloudy overnight with lows in the upper 30s. And then for Tuesday, we are mostly cloudy and warmer as highs get into the mid to upper 50s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip, and I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. Connect with the show on X at 971BFS. Jump in our YouTube chat or just send a raven. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Happy Monday, Eric Reeser, Austin Ward, Ryan Baker with you until noon today. We'll have the Jake Diebler radio show coming up after us. Your proper positive lead-in for that one. Missed opportunities for the basketball Buckeyes this weekend. I'm sure Coach Diebler will have an update on Junie Mobley, who was ruled out a couple hours before Saturday's tip in Nashville. Had suffered that hand injury against USC. Wants to come back before the end of the season. They say they expect him back before the end of the season. We're not too much further out from the end of that season. And so for the basketball Buckeyes, it's Wisconsin Wednesday night at the Schottenstein. Is it tomorrow night?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Tomorrow night at the Schottenstein Center, 8:30, the tip-off on that one. Yeah, you said 6 games left, so...
Clock is ticking, Reeser.
You're running out of time. Look, last week in college basketball was wild. It felt like everybody lose. Arizona lost to Kansas. Kansas lost to Iowa State. I think, and then Arizona might have lost again.
Yeah, they lost twice.
Team that didn't were the Miami Redhawks. They bludgeoned the Ohio Bobcats 90-74 Friday night in Oxford. It was a sellout at Millett Hall. Miami is now 25-0, and the coach of the Redhawks, Travis Steele, was on with us on Friday, and Bob and I got a chance to talk with him. Then he appeared after his win Friday night, Saturday morning on College Game Day. And what Miami's done this season, outside of win all of their games and look like the best team, the best college team, at least in Ohio, has had their men's swimming team show up in the front of their student section in Speedos and swimming caps.
Why not?
And he was pressed, Travis Steele was, on College Game Day and said the selection Sunday, if Miami wins all of their regular season games, he will wear a Speedo and a swim cap for that selection Sunday show.
And he agreed?
He agreed.
He will? Okay.
He said done.
Isn't it wild, though, that, as you said, maybe they're the best college basketball team in the state of Ohio. They're undefeated. And then you look at the projections in the potential bubble scenario. It's like they still might have to go undefeated to make the tournament, or at least still win the MAC championship in the postseason. Like, what a system we have.
Yeah, it stinks because I've maintained that the MAC is a two-bid league most years. And I think Miami certainly has the case. Akron does as well. Because John Gross, I think they have one loss in conference play. That one loss to the only team in the country without a single loss. I'm looking at CBS Sports. They've got the latest bracketology that I could see. They've got Miami right now as an 11 seed, and they'd play Tennessee in the first round.
Here's your reward for going undefeated.
They're in Duke's bracket. The Blue Devils, because I think they took a lot. They didn't take a loss this past week, but they're the number 1 overall seed in that. And Miami at 11 seed feels like a snub. For the basketball Buckeyes, they're one of the first 4 out.
Just hanging around. I think this is going to be the trend for these next couple weeks and these last 6 games, that you're right there bouncing between in.
Yep.
First one out, last 4 out. Saturday was a tough blow for them. You know, one of the quad 1 opportunities that they had. They were looking for one that they really needed to add a signature victory to the resume. And boy, there was a stretch where it looked like they were absolutely going to get it. And then, considering the Mobley injury, which is indefinite, we don't know exactly how long he's going to be out, other than Jake Diebler said on Saturday night that he expected him back before the end of the regular season. You know, as you mentioned, Reeser, maybe there will be an update during the coach's show.
Yeah.
He has an availability. Jake Diebler does after that as well with local media. I believe that's at 1 o'clock. So a lot of time to be asked about that, to try and get an update, because Bruce Thornton was a superhero on Saturday night. But he needs one sidekick at least, and Devin Royal didn't really provide that on Saturday, and that became the real problem. Like, it was amazing that they were in the position that they were in the second half, or in the start.
Even tied going into the second half was amazing to me.
That you had that opportunity. That's a real tribute to Bruce. But, man, he's just got to have a little bit of assistance.
And so he'll need certainly that assistance sometime in the next 6 games if they hope to go dancing in March. They'll be bubble in, bubble out. Feels like they need to win every single game against a team without a number next to their name, and then hope maybe Michigan State, Purdue, you can find some magic, but it's got to come elsewhere from Bruce. You'll hear from Jake Diebler coming up in the next segment. And then Gus Johnson on the broadcast called Ohio State out in terms of their spending. We'll get into that a little bit at 10 o'clock because everybody needs money. Everybody needs more money. And for some of these schools, they're going to find it in the weirdest places. I'd mentioned the Great American Cash Grab. I want to call the Mid-American Cash Grab. Because on Sunday, MAC conference presidents voted to add Sacramento State as a football-only member starting in 2026. So the league will stay at 13 teams because Northern Illinois, for some reason, is going to the Mountain West.
Don't worry about the geography of it.
It's mind-boggling to think that programs that operate in the red, like schools in the Mid-American Conference do in terms of their athletic department, could be able to fund a trip to Sacramento, or that Sacramento State could fund a trip east. Because
a bunch of trips.
With this one, from Sacramento to Amherst, Massachusetts, is 2,900 miles. If you want to compare that to, I guess, the other 2 national athletic conferences in the Big Ten and the ACC, you got UCLA to Rutgers, 2,400 miles. Stanford to Miami of Florida, 3,000 miles. California to UVA in Charlottesville, 2,799.
And then you'll hear the coaches, you'll hear the athletic directors say, well, we got to do something about the scheduling. You can't have back-to-back trips from the West Coast to the East Coast. Well, who made you?
This is the start of that.
Yeah, who? You wanted to do this. And really, in the Sac State case here, they're begging to do it. Throwing bags and bags of cash. Please let us in. We're trying to move up. We'd like to play better competition. This is the conference we want to be in. No one else will have us. Please. And they're begging for it. And then it'll happen. Well, it's really difficult to fly in and out to play Ohio and Miami and Kent State and Akron over and over throughout the course of the regular season. Well, yeah. Was that not a known to you in the first place? Did you think every game was going to be at home?
To go from Columbus to Oxford's a trek.
I mean, it's not easy.
So I looked, I just did some quick math, and the $18 million that Sacramento State's going to be paying the Mid-American Conference generates to about $1.3 million per member school, which is exactly why, if you're wondering, why the hell would the MAC add Sacramento State? Because they're giving them $1 million to do so. And if you're a MAC school, you need money wherever you can get, and this is that. But also don't be surprised in a couple of years where you hear them go, well, we got to go to Sacramento every year, and Sacramento's got to come out here every year. It's really tough to operate this.
Yeah.
You look back to the presidency and you go, well, you voted on this.
Yeah, and I wonder if that money is worth, in the long run, all the travel.
None. It's going to
because it doesn't matter in the long run. Nobody's thinking about the long run.
It's going to be gone. Even if you just saved it, like we're going to take that $1 million and it's all going to go to travel to go play out there. It's going to be gone after 2 years.
I also wonder with Sacramento State, like the Pac-12 just had to expand because they had 2 members, and they're taking all these schools that you would never think are Pac-12 schools. Where were you on that, Sacramento State? Why aren't you pushing to get into the Pac-12? Make things easier on yourself if you can. And I understand you want to go up. You want to move up. You want to be one of the big boys. Okay, but the MAC conference isn't the big boys, so to say. So get yourself into the Pac-12 as quickly and as easily as you can, even if you have to pay a little more. Get in there because it's going to be better for you and your brand in the long run.
Well, I don't necessarily know where the Pac-12 is going to be television-wise. I do know at least for another year the MAC's on ESPN.
Yeah, and so you want that exposure. You think that that's going to, give you a potential leg up competitively to, I don't know.
You hope.
If you're trying to find the Sacramento State motivation in the best case scenario, well, win a conference like the MAC and maybe that can sneak you into the college football playoff. There's not been any sign that they are capable of reaching that level at the moment. There's been all this talk for the last several years about how much money is being invested in this particular football program and that they think that they can spin their way to a winner. Well, I'm not sure that I can trust their judgment if, as Baker said, if you swing and miss to try and get in the reconfigured Pac-12 And then your next option is there's still a higher level of competition in the Mountain West, in my opinion. I know we can argue about that. That's what the football that I grew up watching. Mountain West, MAC, maybe they're roughly the equivalent. Doesn't matter. At least one of them would make more geographic sense for your program, given who is in that league relative to how far it is to travel to play them. And also, they were still looking for a new member in the Mountain West as of a week and a half ago when North Dakota State moved up from the FCS level to go play in the Mountain West. Seems like that would have made a lot more sense and potentially more dollars for them down the road as well, rather than paying $18 million to join a league where they're going to have to travel 2,000 miles to play everyone on their schedule.
I wonder with that extra school needed by the Mountain West, if that's South Dakota State, if they're kind of just waiting for what I think is an effort by North Dakota State to not have to sit out 2 years, where they now will be joining the Mountain West as a football-only school. They've still got to wait 2 years to either compete in the college football playoff and compete for a Mountain West championship. I think they're trying to ask the NCAA to have that removed.
They should remove it.
If you pay enough money, I guess you can do anything in this. So it does feel to me that not Sacramento State, but South Dakota State is the team that might fill that after if North Dakota State's able to just kind of avoid having to sit out 2 years. Because for Sacramento State, last June, the NCAA Division I Council voted to deny their waiver request to transfer from the FCS to the FBS. And I wonder, did they just not offer you enough money?
Yeah, probably. But we all know in this studio and on this show specifically that everyone in the state of Montana is afraid to move up to the Mountain West Conference because
they're scared.
They're scared of Wyoming.
Yeah.
And I get that.
That's why Bobby Houck retired. I mean, he retired for a minute and then went to Illinois, but it's because they were afraid
I
of
feel
running
like,
into the Cowboys.
I feel like this needs to be given to Tyler so he can get it to Mr. Bishop.
Well, let's not try to do anything digitally to make anybody mad this week, all right?
It's gonna make next
Wait, is that not what the standard operating procedure is on this show?
I'm just trying to
Do I have that wrong?
Right, so
let's get this for next Monday's
to
segment.
Keep the ship within the navigational beacons. This deviates from that if we're doing what you say. I was when you read about these, the conference realignment and how things continue to spiral into insanity or continue to spiral into insanity, you do wonder for Montana and Montana State if they see South Dakota State, North Dakota State jumping up and then earning more money right away. Wouldn't that be something that would entice them to do it as well? Because those four schools that I mentioned feel like used to be the biggest powers in the FCS, and if they go, what does it mean for that subdivision?
Well, there's so many dominoes and so many factors that you have to consider into that. If they're looking into the future and they're seeing a world where, what if that Super League happens? What if the playoff continues to expand to 24 and there's more viable opportunities to do that for the college football playoff and not the FCS playoffs? You have to wonder, well, what's going to happen to the level of interest at that next competitive rung down? Are people going to, because I think it's a great system that they've had at FCS.
That's wonderful.
Should have been copy and pasted to the highest level of college football a long time ago, but you have to wonder, like, how much more difficult does that make your job if you stay at the FCS level while you're still trying to compete? You still have to pay NIL money. You still have to pay your roster at that level, but you're having less and less of it, and also you're constantly being poached as a feeder system in a farm league for the Power 4 teams and above. So, does it make more sense to just try and throw your weight around as a Mountain West team, as a MAC opponent, rather than sit there in the Big Sky or anywhere else at the FCS level and just, accept that that's good enough? I used to think it was the other way around. Like some of these programs, like a Wyoming, would be better suited dropping down to FCS and having a clear path to compete for a championship while still being able to play college basketball at the highest level. And now it's flipped itself completely.
Yeah. And I wonder, to the point that we've made a lot on this show is you have the Power 4 and they compete for the national championship. They have the schools that compete for the national, like the legitimate schools that compete for the national championship. The group of five, not taking anything away from what Tulane and James Madison and Boise State have done in their regular seasons, but it's not the same thing. And so would increasingly adding schools to group of five conferences make more sense to have a group of five with their own designated playoff, their own designated national championship? Because as you see the disparities in what I'm sure would be Sacramento State's athletic department, athletic budget compared to Rutgers, compared to Ohio State. Like Rutgers and Ohio State aren't even financially playing in the same sandbox.
Right.
So what's the point in having it just because you don't want to bruise any egos? And I think this conversation will continue as long as we keep expanding the college football playoff, as long as everything keeps wanting more and asking for more. we want for more and ask for more for the basketball Buckeyes. It was a bummer weekend for both the men and the women. You'll hear from Jake Diebler next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront costs before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
Hey Central Ohio, it's Andrew from Home Team Solutions, and yes, we buy houses for cash the easy way. We've been buying houses for over 20 years and we've seen it all. Whether you've inherited a property, you're behind on payments, the house needs work, or just want to avoid the hassle of listing, we've got you covered. No repairs, no clean out, no stress, just a fair cash offer and you pick the closing date. We've helped hundreds of homeowners sell fast and hassle-free, and we're proud to have 5-star reviews all across Central Ohio and an A+ rating with the BBB. If you're ready to sell your house the easy way, call Home Team Solutions at 614-962-SELL. That's 614-962-7355, or visit us online at selltohometeam.com. Home Team Solutions, local, trusted, and family-owned. Again, that's 614-962-SELL. 614-962-7355 or selltohometeam.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man? What's up with you?
I don't know if it's up. It doesn't feel like it right now. The basketball Buckeyes, Ohio State, dropping a game. Would have liked to had that game against Virginia Saturday night in Nashville. And then the Ohio State women's basketball team blew a 19-point second-half lead yesterday to fall at Maryland. Jelani Cambridge had a last-second heave, not go. And you wonder, that probably won't do much for Kevin McGuff's squad in terms of that kind of a loss, because I think they've only got 3 in conference play. But for Jake Diebler, for an odd bump out of conference play, I will say I was surprised at how it looked at Bridgestone Arena, because I didn't think that many fans would be in attendance for that.
Yeah, it was nicely attended, it looked like, in the lower bowl.
Yeah.
And a lot of, because I was watching it with my dad on Saturday night, and it was like, okay, this is weird. Why is there this game in Nashville? And then it was mostly scarlet and gray down there. I thought, why are there so many fans? I said, well, it's just Ohio State fans, biggest alumni base, one of the biggest alumni bases in the country, a ton of them in that area. One that they could plan a trip to Nashville,
Sure.
and you knew that game was going to happen. I don't know how many people made the trek down from Columbus or Ohio down to Nashville, but there's so many people already in that area. I bet they were relishing the opportunity to catch them live. And they got a good effort, a spirited effort from the Buckeyes. And I know that's one of the things that Jake Diebler said after, that there were not going to be moral victories just by playing competitive. This is not the time for that. It's the middle of February. But I think you could still look at that and see, well, this is not a team that is throwing in the towel, that is quitting, that is backing down from anything but the scenario that they're in. They know what they have to do to get it done. They were obviously disappointed with that. But if you're without John Mobley going into that game, and you have some things work against you, bad bounce here and there, you could have just thrown up your hands and said, well, it's not going to happen. It's not a Big Ten game. We'll just worry about getting back to the shot and playing Wisconsin. But, they battled to the end. I give them credit for that. Now, it doesn't matter to the selection committee. I don't know if that matters as much to every Ohio State fan that's out there watching this team and hoping that they can just get back to the postseason and get in the big dance for the first time in 4 years. But it's not nothing, because if they continue to play with that effort in these last 6 games, maybe they will be able to steal one that they need.
Yeah, so Junie Mobley was ruled out 3 hours before Saturday's tip missing some time with the hand injury suffered last week against USC. Ohio State says, quote, he's expected to return this season. Jake Diebler offered similar comments post-game. Ohio State falls to Virginia 70-66. I mean, this was a Herculean performance from Bruce Thornton, 28 points. You didn't get enough from the rest of the squad. You got 15 points from Amari Bynum, 6 rebounds there. And so you like how he's been able to establish himself with the absence of Brandon Knoll. Tyson Chapman steps in without, Junie Mobley in the lineup, but just 4 points from him. And then Devin Royal was the biggest disappointment, I would say, from that, because Bruce was Batman and he needed a Robin. And you get 15 points a game from Junie Mobley and you sorely miss those.
Yeah, and it had felt like, and everyone is entitled to an off night, off shooting night, frustration, fouls, whatever.
Certainly.
I think it built for Devin Royal throughout that game, because I think back to this, it felt like he was really on an upswing starting about a month ago with that home game against UCLA, and every time he touched it, he missed a couple shots early, and then it's like 3, 4, 5 threes in a row he's knocking down. It's like, all right, here he comes. And if you have Devin Royal playing at that level to complement Bruce Thornton, you might really have something. Now, we can still talk about the lack of depth, the lack of bench production for Ohio State. It's really not going to change at this point. That's who they are.
This is the team.
Yeah.
Right?
But if you have Devin Royal playing it on the ascension, and you can then supplement that along with a healthy Mobley, all right, that's why there was a reason to have some hope going into February, that as difficult as the schedule was going to be, as tough as the slate was going to look like, trying to get back into the NCAA tournament, trying to get off the bubble. It's like, you don't have to just give up all hope.
No, certainly not.
But if you don't have Mobley for most of these 6 games, and I don't know that becomes a much steeper hill.
Yeah, it's the same sentiment offered about Brandon Knoll, who's been out since the beginning of January. It feels like that they expect him back before the end of the regular season. So if you can get both of those guys back with a couple games left to play and then have them warm up a little bit before Big Ten tournament play, you can score 1 or 2 quad 1 wins in that. The path to March is still viable. But as you saw from the latest bracketology for CBS, Buckeyes now one of the first 4 out. So you'll be riding the bubble for the next month, because I think Selection Sunday is in almost exactly a month from now. The hope's still there, and it's not a great strategy. Hope isn't a great plan, but for Jake Diebler and company, next up is Wisconsin, and you have to kind of flush the film and prepare for the Badgers tomorrow night at 8:30.
There were some areas we were better today. This is an elite rebounding team. Elite offensive rebounding team, and we battled really hard and did a good job on the glass. So there were some other things I think that we'll take from this to say, okay, we showed some signs of growth. Clearly it wasn't enough, but this is the best time of year. It's a blessing to be playing in high level games right now where every game matters, but our focus has to be on getting better and getting as prepared to play tough and together and execute against our next opponent, Wisconsin. That's we can't look beyond that. There's a lot on all these games. We know that, but we got to keep the main thing, focused on what's ahead right in front of us.
And I think I've turned a corner on playing that game against Virginia and Nashville, because it does give you a kind of tournament experience where you're going on the road, you're playing a team you're not familiar at all with.
Yeah.
You have some stakes riding on this thing. Now it's not necessarily win or go home, but this is win, and you feel a lot better than in a losing effort you look to be on the outside looking in.
Yeah, and Virginia didn't have as much to gain from that as Ohio State did. No. But you could tell, if you watch some of the post-game press conference, and they treated it like an NCAA tournament game, a lot of it felt, I wasn't down there for it, obviously I was here, but they, had a couple players at the podium joined by the coach. Virginia was celebrating it like they were moving on, like they were going to get to go, slap their team name on a bracket. A neutral site game in February might have some value to simulate what it's going to be like in March. So not really the same for Ohio State, because they've got to find some quad 1 wins to get there. But they had an incentive. They would have had a bonus by winning it. And they given the challenges and the curveballs that were thrown at them, I do think it's worthwhile that they went through that against someone that they didn't have a ton of film or experience playing against, hadn't played them earlier this year or anything like that, a Big Ten opponent. But to come up short again, we can find all the silver linings we want.
That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to present false hope or say that cling to this for the next 6 games. Like, stay invested in Ohio State basketball. Like, I can understand if you don't feel that way. They've not given, not just this year, but for the previous 3 years, a lot of hope to cling to. And if you've given up on that part, I get it. I'm not going to try and convince you otherwise, but I do tend to agree. And Jake Diebler was almost like more critical of his team on Saturday night than he had been for some other losses that I thought were more concerning. Compared the performance against Virginia compared to 6 days earlier against Michigan, I thought was night and day in terms of the toughness
effort,
and
certainly the energy. And you think back to the Michigan game, it's not necessarily the result that bothered me so much, because you thought Michigan's going to compete for a national championship. Ohio State's just looking to make the tournament. Those teams are completely different when you watch them. But it was the shoulders lower. It seemed like they kind of just quit towards the end of the game. And then for me as a fan, you're hearing "Let's Go Blue" reverberate around the Schottenstein Center. And my biggest fear, and why I keep clinging to this message of hope, because there's still a chance for this team to make it into March, is hope is your biggest weapon against apathy.
Yep.
And apathy, I think, is the biggest thing right now for the fan base towards this Ohio State team, where you talk about the empty Schottenstein Center. You talk about, and what I was pleasantly surprised that there were Ohio State fans that made the trip to Nashville. Right. It's a wonderful city. It's a great place, to watch a basketball game like that. But as long as you can kind of hold off apathy for as long as humanly possible, then I think you can start maybe in year 3 to really see something with what this Ohio State basketball program is, because it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
No, it's not. And it's a complicated path forward. To year 3 for sure, but also to NCAA tournament. You have to turn around. You have to bounce back. If they can give that same effort, if we can assume that they're not going to suddenly get healthier by tomorrow or by the end of this week, then this is the situation. And if you play with that level of intensity, if you're battling for every loose ball, if you're keeping teams off the offensive glass, you're going to have a chance, because Bruce Thornton is going to drag you across the finish line as much, or to the finish line. We'll see if someone else can help them get there. I felt like, for me, Reeser, on Saturday night, and I probably am not the first person to feel this way, definitely not the last, but
sure,
what Bruce Thornton has done for 4 years, I just feel like it would be such a shame, injustice, criminal, if he doesn't get to play in the big dance. He's doing everything possible. And it's so rare in this era of college sports in general, and college basketball even more specifically, that you're going to have 4 years to coach somebody like this. I mean,
rarely.
You're just not going to. And every time that they showed those graphics, the Bruce Almighty, they had one at one point in the second half. They had the top 5 scoring record, and his pursuit of that. And so I think he's done everything right. He's played so hard. He's played so well. You don't even know how he's doing it sometimes. And it's just going to be potentially squandered if they can't find 1 or 2 of these quad 1 wins down the stretch. And you'll look back at Bruce Thornton's career, and his fingerprints will be all over the record book, everywhere except the postseason, and that just would be such a shame.
Your next opportunity is at Wisconsin tomorrow night at 8:30. We'll have pregame coverage on the Fan at 7:30 for the 8th-ranked Ohio State women's squad, falling at Maryland 76-75. Yesterday at the Shot, the Buckeyes are at Minnesota. Wednesday night at 8. We'll have that game for you right here on the Fan, which you can hear again Wednesday after the Inside Edge. It's one thing to go about post-game press conferences the way Jake Diebler's done, but Jerome Tang did it another way, and looks like it came back to bite him. That's next. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan. Get your day started with T-Bone and Tybus weekday mornings from 6 to 9 here on The Fan. You think that a radio lifer and a national title winner wouldn't have much in common, but you'd be wrong. They're both girthy, they both love football, and they both get racially profiled for completely different reasons. It's like driving to work with your friends, except these friends give away tickets to things and talk to all the important people in town. Your actual friends are probably a bunch of losers. Well, anyway, listen to T-Bone and Tybus live on The Fan app, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey there, friends. High Bank isn't just award-winning whiskey. They also make the best vodka in America. With 3 Central Ohio locations serving scratch-made food and craft cocktails, High Bank is perfect for date night, game day, or drinks with friends. Learn more at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Say goodbye to car care headaches with Carvenience from Hinder Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. For only $49, we'll pick up your vehicle, leave you with a rental, and return it fully serviced and spotless. No more juggling your schedule or wasting hours at the shop. Carvenience lets you focus on what matters while we take care of all the rest, making life easier. Schedule your service today at HindererMotorCompany.com.
A system for every home and every budget at Logan AC and Heat Services. Get a free Trane furnace with the purchase of an air conditioner. And don't forget about our 10-year parts and labor warranty available now. Logan Services.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place. And today we're in my showroom to demonstrate how efficient our windows are.
Whew, it's really cold in here, Wilson.
We call that eco-friendly organic air conditioning.
Drafty windows are a major problem for energy bills and comfort. It's one of the biggest reasons why people get Pella windows.
It really is a problem, Leslie. I'm wearing 3 coats right now, looking like a beanbag with legs.
Get the windows that can completely change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
The Buckeyes are back at the shot for a Big Ten battle with Wisconsin.
Live fan coverage starts Tuesday night at 7:30.
Every game, every season, proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. Ohio sports destination.
Holiday shopping was fun, but those credit card balances aren't merry. Transfer them to a new Kemba Visa and enjoy 0% APR for 18 months on balances transferred in the first 90 days. Apply at Kemba.org and put more of your money toward debt, not interest. Offer ends March 31st, 2026. Restrictions apply. Variable rate product. Equal opportunity lender.
It's 2026, the year you achieve your health goals. The Good Feet store wants to help. Trade in your bad feet for good feet. We want to help you walk, run, exercise, and play in comfort this year. Visit the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway near the Polaris Mall or on Stringtown Road in Grove City.
For decades, Morgan & Morgan has represented hundreds of thousands of people at their hour of need. Injuries on the job, car crashes, medical malpractice, and nursing home abuse, Social Security claims, dangerous drugs, and dangerous products. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason, and no firm is even close. Then we got to thinking, what if we could prevent these terrible events before they occurred? So we built the AI-powered People Protector. Simply visit peopleprotector.com and type in the product you have questions about before you buy it. Children's toys and accessories, cars, drugs, products, you name it, we got it. With our success, we decided to pay it forward for all of America. Our way of saying thank you for your trust all these years. Morgan & Morgan, protecting America. And if you've already been injured, just visit us at forthepeople.com.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
10 feet tall and bulletproof isn't just a saying, it's a way of life. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
It's one of those situations where no news is good news. Because last week, for the first time in a long time, we brought up Kansas State men's basketball. And the Wildcats normally wouldn't really be talked about, if at all. Like, if you'd asked me this time last week, hey, who coaches Kansas State men's basketball? Like, is Bruce Weber still there? Like, this has just been that long since we've thought about them, and deservedly so. They're 10-15 overall, 1-11 in Big 12 play. I don't know if the Big 12 does what the Big 10 does and just allows everybody into their conference tournament. They shouldn't. But
they
if
don't need to let Kansas State in.
Certainly not. Kansas State right now has an interim coach.
How dare you, Reese? Those kids try hard, too. They deserve to play.
And you wonder, well, Eric, what happened? What happened to their head coach you couldn't remember? Well, Jerome Tang was the head coach, and last week we played his little rant. They got demolished by Cincinnati. It was like the fourth time in 6 games where they got beaten by 20 points or more. And in one of those things, like, all right, just stick to irrelevancy and then try again in the offseason. But this is his 4th season in Manhattan. And so I wonder what he was doing with that rant that you've all heard by now is try, the last-ditch effort to get his team to respond to him. But if you're going out on a podium and doing something that's going to be, if not 1, 2 on SportsCenter the next day, that ain't it. They fired him for cause last night. They informed him formally on Sunday. The basis The for-cause firing is language in his contract that references any activity that brings public dispute, disrepute, embarrassment, ridicule to Kansas State. There's $19 million left on his contract. He led the Wildcats to the Elite Eight in 2023, but again, that 1-11 in Big 12 play this year wasn't going to get it done. Now, he's probably going to keep his job because they were just going to go away in March, but then he did that.
Well, that's a pretty sizable buyout. So he could have not said anything, and they would not have been able to fire him at the end of this year. And I also
think he did them a favor?
Well,
because he did.
He actually did do them a favor, although maybe not, unless you like just paying lawyers, because I think they're probably going to have to take this one to court, and it becomes a real, I don't know, can of worms across college athletics if your press conference words can then be used as an embarrassment, because every contract of every coach that I've ever covered has something like this, a clause in there.
Yeah.
But it's never been used because they might have, said something silly. I covered Derek Dooley at Tennessee. Every press conference he gave was an embarrassment to the Vols, but they didn't try and fire him for cause over that. And I have a tough time believing that would actually stick, to get out of $19 million that he used some language that he shouldn't have, that he was more critical of the players than maybe some of us would have liked. I don't know how that's going to work. This feels like it's going to have to go to a little bit of arbitration or negotiation, because that seems extreme, Bake.
And I'm with you here, because
what's the standard for embarrassment?
What's embarrassment and ridicule? Is it embarrassing and ridicule that you have one win in the conference?
Yeah.
Because that's why they want him gone right now. They loved him and they wanted him when he made it to the Elite Eight just 3 years ago. But now things are not going well and they want him gone. I'm with you. I think he should get his money. I don't think this is a for-cause firing here. We've heard coaches say similar things about their teams and a poor effort when they're winning and they're trying to, hey, let's get them out of this, or I need to grab my team's attention before this goes too far the other way. And it's not embarrassment or ridicule to the school then, because you're winning. So I think that this is all on Jerome Tang, because he brought these guys in. He chose these guys, whatever the reason. But I think this was a group that just wasn't listening, wasn't getting it, and this was his last-ditch effort to try to grab a hold of them. And now Kansas State is like, well, it's not going good. We can get out of this buyout now. Let's try to say that this is for cause. I don't think this is going to hold up.
Yeah, Tang issued a statement to Jeff Goodman. I'm deeply disappointed with the university's decision, strongly disagree with the characterization of my termination. I've always acted with integrity and faithfully fulfilled my responsibilities as head coach, end quote. So they're going to court.
Yeah.
If I'm Kansas State, though, I'm just playing that. The first thing the first piece of evidence I offer is just his rant, and then I go look at his record. All of that is embarrassing. So feel free to argue against this, Mr. Tang. But you mentioned like the billable hours. Schools love doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, how much is owed to coaches not coaching their current schools in college football? The argument about money and having money or not having any money is always hilarious because of the sometimes wild lengths colleges go to not pay or to pay.
Well, and I mean, look, if you're any athletic director across the country, you would be cheering for Kansas State to have that go to court and then to get a decision that says, yep, this qualifies as an embarrassment, losing, and that's part of the deal, but also using curse words in public or, saying something too critical of a student athlete, I think they would secretly be cheering that on, because then suddenly everyone in the country has an avenue to escape these buyouts, which they're stupidly putting in there astronomically every single year. No one is holding a gun to their head. I don't think that that's how Jimmy Sexton negotiates. I don't think that's what these agents are using to get these lucrative deals in place. If that suddenly becomes the loophole that embarrassment is tied to wins and losses or bad performances in press conferences, that blows up the entire contractual model, which maybe that's what the athletic directors need.
Yeah, and for Jerome Tang, so Bruce Weber had been there from 2012 to 2022. So I
think that was Tang's first year that they had to run to the Elite Eight, right? And then
2023 Elite Eight, he made it. His fourth season with the team, nope, yep, that's it. And then on Sunday, You also have news that the Vegas Raiders announced their defensive line coach, Rob Leonard's going to be their new defensive coordinator. So I wanted to get this in real quick. Matt Patricia back, kind of confirmed?
It seems to be the case. There's not a signature on that contract that I'm aware of at this moment, but Matt Patricia had been working and building towards a return. The Raiders, I think, all along were the biggest threat given the Brady ties.
Yep.
I know that people got a little bit panicked after New England made a move after the Super Bowl, but they had a guy already in-house who had been calling plays throughout this entire year. So it felt like Las Vegas or Bucks for Matt Patricia, and I think Ohio State's getting that news that they want.
Yeah, I'd kind of put the red yarn to the corkboard last week when they announced their coaches clinic from like April 16th to the 18th. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, if Matt Patricia's going to be here in Columbus before the spring game, I think it's pretty safe to say he'll be coordinating the defense in 2026. No official word yet. This is just Eric having some tinfoil fun on a Monday. It's pay to play everywhere. You'll hear from Gus Johnson on Ohio State's NIL next. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. You don't want to start the new year off hurting. You don't want to start off the new year getting surgery. You don't want to start off the new year dealing with trying to plan something out into the future. What you want to do is get healthy. So what you want to do is go to my friends over at QC Kinetics. Dr. Tesner and his team, the medical pros at QC Kinetics right here in Columbus, they can deliver regenerative treatments that actually help your body repair the areas that are causing you pain. Those achy knees, hips, back, shoulders, whatever it is, they can help you get ready. So instead of those invasive operations, it's going to sideline you all of the early year. Go check out our friends at QC Kinetics and see if they can help you today. Imagine moving better, being stronger, planning your year, doing what actually you want to do. So don't wait. Call 380-228-4544. That's 380-228-4544. They have offices located in Dublin and Gahanna, and they're already there for your free consultation. So go check them out today.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Door Service. Most repairs are simple, but if left untreated, they can turn into costly repairs. Your garage door works hard every day, and a little maintenance goes a long way. We fix garage doors fast with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Over 90,000 five-star reviews don't happen by accident. They happen by putting people first. Fixing your garage doors is what we do. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Door Service today.
Hey there, it's Bo Bishop here. Valentine's Day is about showing her how much she means to you. And when you're buying jewelry you don't guess, you go with the best. That's why I trust my friends at Diamond Seller. Whether it's a necklace, bracelet, earrings, or something a little more personal, Diamond Seller makes sure you get it right. For nearly 80 years, they've helped guys find the perfect gift with luxury designer collections and expert advice that makes the process easy. And guy to guy, no pressure, no confusion, just great options, honest help. This Valentine's Day, give her something she'll never forget. Diamond Seller, Sawmill Road, Easton Town Center, online at diamondseller.com.
Below freezing? Fire up the grill at Billiards Plus. The grilling season never ends. While you're grill shopping, you'll love browsing Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
We know exactly what you're not thinking about right now. Wiper blades. But now that you are, take a moment to think about how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America. Why? Because Rain-X thinks about wiper blades all the time. We obsess, so you don't have to. Simply install our blades and then think about literally anything else. So choose Rain-X, America's #1 wiper blades, and then go back to not thinking about wiper blades. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
Winter is in full swing, and Aleve is here to keep you moving. When the cold weather sets in, everyday aches and pains can linger, but Aleve's got your back. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, Aleve keeps you going with long-lasting body pain relief to get you through whatever the season brings. Chilly days or cozy nights, Aleve gives you that long-lasting body pain relief you can count on this winter. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
What's up, everybody? This is Jeremy Birmingham Berm from the Austin and Berm Show here on 97.1 The Fan. I hit maintenance after dropping 35 pounds on Awaken 180, and I'm not going to pretend that I don't feel different, because this is the first time in a long time I've actually reached a goal that I set for my physical health instead of just talking about one, thanks to Awaken 180. I'm under 200 pounds for the first time in 25 years, and that's not a small thing. I didn't have to muscle my way there either. The Awaken 180 coaches walked me through it. Every adjustment, every tweak. They made it simple. Honestly, it was easier than I expected. This now feels like momentum. I'm in maintenance mode, and I'm not guessing. I can have pizza. I can have ice cream. All the things I used to love are back on my menu, but my metabolism is firing on all cylinders. The difference is my body doesn't crave it all the time. It was a mindset change and not a Band-Aid. That's the part that changes everything. If you've been circling the same goal for years, maybe you don't need more willpower. Maybe what you need is what I had, a plan, a coach, and a system that makes it easy. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Listen to Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles this Saturday morning at 9 on 1460 AM, covering topics like what you need to know about annuities and how to stay healthy and enjoy retirement. Financially Fit Radio this Saturday morning at 9 on 1460 AM.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. 6 more games remain for the basketball Buckeyes, who will be living on the NCAA tournament bubble until Selection Sunday on March 15th. A Herculean performance from Bruce Thornton wasn't enough as Ohio State lost to number 15 Virginia 70-66 this past Saturday in Nashville. Thornton had 28 in the loss. He's climbing up Ohio State's all-time scoring list. Hear from Ohio State's head coach today at noon on the Jake Diebler radio show. Buckeyes are back at the Shot on Tuesday, hosting Wisconsin tomorrow night at 8:30. As for the OSU women's squad, the 8th-ranked Buckeyes fell at home yesterday to number 20 Maryland 76-75. OSU's at Minnesota on Wednesday. And the Winter Olympics continue over in Italy. It's day 13 of competition in Milan Cortina. The U.S. women's hockey team plays Sweden today at 10:40 in the semis. The U.S. men's team has a bye into the quarterfinals. They'll play Sweden or Latvia on Wednesday. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union, voted best local credit union for the last 8 years by CBUS Top Picks. Visit bmifcu.org to learn more.
The perfect show for quarter zips and khaki shorts. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Happy President's Day. Quick, while you're driving in your car, think of your Mount Rushmore of presidents. You can't use the actual Mount Rushmore. Who do you like?
Well, that's cheating.
Who's the best presidents of all time? They're all bad and kind of psychotic. Because they always say, like, best and brightest, and it's never best and brightest to do that job, because who in their right mind would ever want that job?
Well, happy President's Day indeed, Reeser.
Yes,
Seems like you're fired up to celebrate all day.
We love our presidents, all 47 of them. Well, I guess
that's not
like 41, because you've got some that did several terms.
Yeah, I don't think that math is
And then some only did a couple days.
Yeah. Well, 45 and 47 are the same guy.
That's true. Well, maybe not. Because you never know. Could be a deep fake.
Oh.
We hear a lot about AI.
That's true. The robots are coming for us. Every single day they get closer.
I always see those like Boston Robotics dogs, and I'm like, they're going to stick a gun on it one time, and then we're going to be done.
I'm worried about those Svedka robots that were partying at the Super Bowl. Like, everyone was acting like it was totally normal, that they were just in there. They're like, ha ha, we're mixing you up a good drink. We know how to do that. We're robots. We know the exact right amount of everything to put it. All the ingredients are going to be perfect. We'll even taste it, and then it'll spill. That was the best part. It's like, if you just told the robot you have to drink this Svedka, and then everything explodes, the wires are electrocuted in there. Like, is that our only... Maybe I should take some optimism from that.
Are you saying that people were being abusive to those robots?
I kind of hope that they were.
Well, no, you can't.
You can't be abusive to the robots? They don't have feelings?
The robots.
Why not?
Not yet.
I didn't know you were on Team Robot.
Again, I'm not on Team Robot.
I think you are.
Not angering the sentient beings. Because all it takes is someone to put a gun in one of those hands, and then all of a sudden now they have the gun.
Yeah, but we had the gun. It was the Svedka.
I thought we were talking about aliens later in the show.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that later in the program, because one former president gets asked the question I want to ask every president. Even the ones that weren't around in the times.
Well, the current one is the only one who'll answer it, don't you think?
Well, the former one did.
Oh, well.
And you'll have part of his answer coming up at around 10:45.
There's a couple other questions I'd like to ask.
No, that's my first question. But again, you'll hear from that.
Well,
at
I'm concerned about the robots, and that Reeser is on Team Robot.
I'm not pro
He's denying
robot.
it.
I'm just saying, let's not make the robots angry, because we're making them now. They're able to do everything
Except drink.
I think the Swedes have a robot that's going to be like a personal house assistant that can fold your clothes and vacuum your floor. That can use the actual vacuum on the floor, not the robot vacuum that you have on your floor.
I don't trust him,
I'm not
man.
for this.
Keep that robot out of my house.
Sometimes change is not good. It's the Dr. Malcolm question from Jurassic Park.
I feel like we're told all the time, use AI as much as possible. No, I refuse.
No AI on this show.
I'm not helping AI.
I mean,
I'm not helping give them any information to take over the world. I'm out.
Yeah. If they can start hosting this show, then...
Oh, they can, but we just don't want them to.
Well,
we like to think that there are things that actual human beings can provide that artificial intelligence can't. Now,
I would hope
whether
so.
That's true or not remains to be seen. So we do a segment on Tuesdays called The Real Truth. We'll do that tomorrow. I was also going to say your compatriot Spencer Holbrook's going to join us at 10:30 in your usual spot, but you're here with us.
He
till
asked,
noon.
"Are you still going to play the Austin Ward bumper music?" I said, "Well, usually they do." Berms had to hear it before because it's got a tag in it.
It's sponsored.
It's sponsored. So even if I'm here, you're probably going to hear it.
I can neither confirm nor deny that will play, but it's sponsored. So that probably answers the question already. But the real truth, we'll start with what Gus said. So this was midway through the first half of Saturday's game against Virginia, where Fox Sports' Gus Johnson was talking about Virginia's roster after that roster's exodus following Tony Bennett stepping away.
But the difference between UVA and Ohio State is that money UVA paid for it. Ohio State, they're giving all the money to Ryan Day.
And that's the challenge.
So I don't know if you can hear all that through the squeaks and the whistles and the actual basketball going on. Like, I always wonder if someone's driving around 270 and we play a cut that's got so much background stuff in it. They're like, yeah, I don't know what he said. Basically, Gus had said the difference between Ohio State and Virginia paid for their roster. Ohio State's given all of their money to Ryan Day. Now, not just handed it all to Ryan Day, but allocated it towards Ryan Day and the football team, which is what Ross Bjork said was going to happen when they first brought up that $20.5 million cap.
Yep. That 16 to 17 million of that was always going to go to football. And it makes every bit of logical sense for Ohio State to handle it that way. That's the largest roster. It is also their biggest revenue maker. It is also their most competitive sport. It is, if you expand out beyond the athletic department, it is, the welcome mat for the university.
Yeah.
So Ted Carter fully supports it. Like, none of that is wrong. But the part that is incorrect is this notion that Gus Johnson is trying to say, well, Ohio State is spending zero NIL dollars on basketball.
Because that's how it gets hurt.
And
right?
and that's why I think...
And that's not the real truth.
Saying it that way in a primetime broadcast, I don't know what the television ratings were, but it already feeds into this notion that, like, Ohio State doesn't care about men's basketball. They're not going to do this to support that program. I got to tell you, I mentioned this in hour number one when we were talking about the Virginia game, Reeser, and Bruce Thornton's career and how unusual it is that you have an opportunity to keep somebody like that in your program in this day and age for 4 full years. I'm here to tell you, or Gus Johnson, that he's not here for 4 years for free.
No, it's not a charity case.
Bruce Thornton, at any point, and basically at every point over the last couple of years, would have been one of the most coveted guards in the transfer portal market. So that price tag has not been cheap. And is it unlimited at the level of, well, nothing is unlimited. Is it a salary cap that is as high as Duke basketball or North Carolina basketball or Kansas basketball? No, it is not. And nor should it be. That would not make sense for Ohio State's athletic department to approach it that way. At the same time, they also say, well, they should be spending and raising a lot more money and enhancing the atmosphere at the shot, and they need that more than women's basketball. That's a really good program, too. They're paying for that. I think if we're talking about the 4 sports that Ross Bjork talked about allocating money for, the one that, to me, the only question is why is women's volleyball the 4th one? Doesn't make any difference. That's the way that they chose to do it. Could you take, it's not like it's enough that would elevate, if you took it from women's volleyball and gave it to Jake Diebler, that's the difference between making the tournament and going to the Final Four.
Sure.
Like that's not an amount of money that I think is likely to tilt the scales all that much. But the point that Ohio State, which it makes it seem like Gus Johnson is going out there and saying, well, the Buckeyes basketball program is
it's a poverty program. There's no money going there is how it came off to, because when you hear that, and as you're watching, you go, what did he just say? Because then Jim Jackson has some thoughts. And what Jim Jackson basically says is that this is how college sports works now, is you have football schools who are allocating a bunch toward football, and they've got to try to find stuff for basketball to make them competitive, especially for a school like Ohio State. He says, quote, if you want to compete, you got to pay nowadays. And then Gus chimes in at the end, I'm going to have to call President Carter and ask him if he can show some love for the pocketbooks of Buckeye basketball. And so you had Jim Jackson come in and offer some sanity there. Then Gus just tries to throw it off the cliff right there, basically saying he didn't say Ohio State's a poverty program, but how I viewed the responses on social media, how I viewed the responses on social media and how a lot of people consumed that was he called them poor.
And that's just,
it's not true.
It's not true. It's not the reality. But it is relative, because I don't think that Ohio State's overall spending is at the level to go win a national championship in men's basketball.
But didn't Ross say just as much that Ohio State needs more in that?
They do, 100%. That part is correct. I think the way it was presented on Saturday night, it's like, well, they're not spending anything, and they're just hoping that they can get through. And it opened up this window to be really critical, or for other programs to dunk on Ohio State and say, social media dunk, not Virginia dunks. Say, well, this is what they do. They don't care about basketball. They're never going to care about basketball, whether that's a recruiting sales pitch against them, whether that's anything.
Right.
Like the way it was presented, I don't think is accurate, and it painted Ohio State in a negative light. You're still looking at, I don't know the exact figures, and I never report on those, like even for football, the student athlete private information. When I'm talking about Bruce Thornton or Devin Royal
or Junie
Mobley, like these are not players that are here
or Christoph Tilley
for free. Like none of them are. And I've ballparked it, and I'm excited now for the next time that we get to talk to Ross Bjork about some of these things, because I think that they would have to push back on that they do want more money. They would like to spend more money. They need more investment in men's basketball if they are going to turn from a bubble team to a Sweet 16 team to getting back to the Final Four again. They need more money than they're spending. But I think it's like a top 35 probably expense and roster. And I know that inside, the Shot and Diebler's office or, everyone else over there in that facility, they're constantly going to be wanting more. And I think that they will tell people, well, we are at a disadvantage compared to some of our peers. And I think that's true, but that's also not going to ever dramatically change as long as Ohio State football exists.
And the money, I think, will be there. So I think Gus Johnson's wrong in saying that. I also think you've got to do a better job. And I'm not saying anything that they don't already know inside the Schottenstein Center, that the money, that how you spend the money, the allocation and who you spend the money on is the most important thing. Like Alex Smith, Anthony Thompson, those guys aren't coming to Ohio State for free.
No.
There's going to be a price paid, but also roster retention. Guys you have on the roster currently for next year, the ones you want to stick around, you're going to have to pay for. Now, this continuing our theme of more, and more, Ross Bjork talking about more for college football. Is it a good thing? That's next. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again, so call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
Do you want free internet forever? Yeah, we thought so. That's why Spectrum is giving you just that. Free fiber-powered internet forever when you switch and get 4 mobile lines from Spectrum. No internet bills, no taxes, no late fees. Just fast fiber-powered internet. Call 833-901-0178 to find out how. But hurry, this deal won't last forever. Once more, 833-901-0178. Or visit spectrum.com/freeforever to learn more.
Oh, did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did? Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
It's Skyway time at Skyline Chili. Come get your Skyline 3, 4, or 5-way with 50% extra cheese at no extra charge. Regular and large ways only at participating Skyline restaurants for a limited time.
Get your furnace fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling, 1-800-COOLING.
My advisor at Plant Moran Wealth Management knows my definition of wealthy. Rescue animals. Everywhere. So, my husband and I bought property and opened a sanctuary. It's our happy place. And from the sound of it, it's their happy place too.
You have your own personal definition of wealthy. Plant Moran Wealth Management knows it takes a personal approach to get you there. Experience the difference with Plant Moran Wealth Management. Book a consultation today.
Join Rothman and Ice every Thursday at 2:30 for Gold Jacket Thursday.
Presented by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A new Hall of Famer joins the show every week, but not OJ because he's dead and probably a murderer. The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Hi, the Scott Antique Markets are back again at the Ohio Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. The market is one weekend monthly, November through March. Build your family heirlooms. You can find everything that gets old. Just take I-71 to exit 111 to enjoy America's favorite treasure hunt. Visit thescottantiquemarket.com for more information. Come join us at the Ohio Expo Center for the Scott Antique Markets. It's huge. It's the Scott Antique Markets this weekend.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Could see a little bit of patchy lingering fog. Otherwise, we turn mostly cloudy this afternoon with highs in the low 50s. For tonight, partly cloudy overnight with lows in the upper 30s. And then for Tuesday, we are mostly cloudy and warmer as highs get into the mid to upper 50s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
The friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody, work, 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 work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yes, you are. Essential personnel getting it done on President's Day.
No days off.
Extra essential Austin Ward with us. We'll get Spencer Holbrook on at 10:30. Also essential. Hear his thoughts on the Buckeyes, both basketball and the football front. And I'll have to keep saying this because I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth. When I say it on the Fan, this is just Eric. This is just tinfoil hat wearing, corkboard, red yarn having, Matt Patricia back for Ohio State as defensive coordinator. Just doing the red yarn, right? If he's going to be in town doing a coach's clinic the day of the spring game, good chance.
And if the Las Vegas Raiders have a defensive coordinator, and New England is
darn to that one.
Promoting from within, seems there aren't enough seats at the table left for him to be leaving. And look, that's not to say, I don't think we should present it in a light either, Reeser, that Matt Patricia wanted to leave. I think we had a number of Mondays over the last month where I made this point to Bo that his family likes it here. Matt Patricia likes it here. Yep. He's been very successful. He's had a chance to, I think, really put down some roots. It's a short period of time. I know that. And coaches are transient by nature. And he was open to other opportunities. If Las Vegas had pulled a Chip Kelly on him and said, here's $6 million to come be the coordinator and team back up with Tom Brady, that'd have been tough for him to turn down. He's well within his rights to have left that leverage available to him because Ohio State, I think they had expressed as far back as October an interest in getting a new deal done, maybe one of the most lucrative in the history of Ohio State football. I haven't seen that contract in place. I don't know if he has signed it today or yesterday or at any point. He was on the road last week because he was a Broyles finalist, and he was supporting Caleb Downs on the circuit. Also, last month, he was working to identify transfer portal targets. Like the whole time, he was still doing his job. He didn't spend 6 weeks saying, I'm the most coveted free agent in the world. Come and get me. All offers are going to be open for consideration. That was not the case. But, Ohio State did right by him, in my opinion. And I think Matt Patricia was doing right by his family and by himself and for Ohio State by continuing to do his job at that point as well. So I don't have any issue with the way the process worked out. And I think for Ohio State, it also ended up in a spot that they wanted it to.
Do you think, and I asked Bob about this on the show Friday, that Chip Kelly's got any regrets? I mean, $21 million is pretty
nice. It's a lot of money.
He wasn't unemployed log.
He's getting that money. It's all going to be paid to him. I think coming off of a national championship and having the pieces in place and having, your mentee to work with moving forward, that was a comfortable work environment. It's hard to imagine that Chip Kelly could have got something better than that.
Yeah.
And it was said to me a couple months ago, it wasn't in direct relation to Chip Kelly, but it was a philosophy that I'd never heard it in these terms before. It makes a lot of sense that you don't trade happy for money. And Chip Kelly's also made a lot of money.
Made a ton of money.
And now you're going to go try and elevate the Northwestern offense? More power to you. But clearly he still wanted to be in coaching, or he could have taken all of that amount of money. I don't know how much the offset language was. I didn't take a close look at that part of it, but it was $6 million for last year no matter what. And he'd been an NFL head coach, and he'd been a UCLA head coach. There was probably enough zeros in the bank account that he could have just gone off to whatever his vacation,
he can do whatever he wants.
Choice, retirement village of choice, golf course of choice, and lived there for the rest of his life. Del Boca Vista. And run for president of the community and done whatever he wanted there. I bet he would have had a lot of votes. He knows how to organize.
If he was the head of an HOA, that place would be sparkly.
The attention to details there.
Not a blade of grass out of place.
And everyone would show up at the right time for the early bird dinner. Great organization, great execution. So I think he has to have some. How much is that offset by the money? I'd love to ask Chip Kelly that now.
I do wonder for the coaches clinic, because John Gruden was also a part of that announcement. And so I'm going to speak this into existence, that I hope they let Gruden on the sidelines for Ohio State's spring game and call some plays.
He'll definitely be down there, don't you think?
I would hope. I don't know. Are they going to what's the format going to look like? Is it going to be something similar to last year, or are you going to have two offenses?
I bet we get closer, not just in Columbus, but nationwide.
I'm glad to hear that schools that didn't do the spring game last year, like Nebraska and Texas and Oklahoma, are going back to the actual spring football game. For all of those fan bases, it means so much to have that kind of be your welcome to warm weather event.
The reward for the chaos and insanity of January. Here you go. You get spring games back.
Who in Columbus doesn't love that?
It was amusing to me because when we talk about, and you're about to, Reeser, the search for revenue, the search for as much money as you can possibly have in your coffers, that Ohio State a year ago had to be like, well, we're going to have the spring showcase. Like, we are not going to have a full game. It's going to be more like a practice. And then Ohio State's like, well, ticket sales are slowing down quite a bit because we said
Was there
we're
a correlation to that? I
just
didn't
going to
know.
have a practice. And they're like, no, don't. it's a spring game. We misspoke. It's going to be real. Please come watch. Please come. Because as you said, it is. I don't put as much stock into the actual activity itself as I maybe did 10, 15, 20 years ago when coaches really were using that as last evaluation, meaningful evaluation, didn't have any fear that their players were going to get poached in the transfer portal the day after that spring game. I know that they're not as meaningful as they used to be, but for many people, that's one of the few opportunities that you have a really discounted opportunity to get into a football cathedral. The players they have a lot of the stress off, a lot more opportunities to get some autographs or maybe, towels or gloves, something thrown into the stands. Like, it is fun. The weather tends to cooperate. I'll knock on wood now because we're 2 months out.
Good job out of you.
I'm looking forward to it. And we're inside a month, by the way, until spring ball starts.
So I think because what I'm wondering about John Gruden is, I know he's still at court with the NFL. And so however that goes, like, is he going to go back into coaching or does he just enjoy being John Gruden football personality?
Well, he gets to control his schedule right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's not working for free. I think he's found a niche here that works for him. You might want to stick with that. Have a little bit more time and because I think about that with Urban Meyer now. It's like, what's better than this? You might miss the day-to-day competitiveness that used to drive you.
The camaraderie in the locker room with your teams.
But don't you like vacations? Don't you like you still are making 7 figures every year, and you always made that throughout your career, and no one is telling you where to be or what your schedule is going to be like or you having to worry about the portal, and even the NFL stuff, reporting to a general manager, dealing with free agency, scouting the draft. Like, the time that's available, don't go back. John Gruden, don't go back, Urban Meyer, and I think they both recognize that.
No, you can't ever go back with a lot of these things in football, and especially with the playoff. You can't go back to an 8-teamer. You can't go back to a 4-teamer. No, in fact, you're going to go forward. Now, it's going to stay 12 in 2026, but per paperworks that was circulating amongst the Big Ten decision makers last week and into the weekend, they want the 24-teamer. But they want that in 2029. Now, in 2027 and in 2028, you're going to get a 16-teamer. You want more and more and more. Ross Bjork, in an interview with 11 Warriors, said, quote, "I'm a believer in expansion. I think it's good for the game of football. The games have never been more popular. The fact that we have content that is valuable, live sporting content in today's environment where everything's sort of on demand has never been more valuable. Producing more content produces more revenue, which we can give back to the players. I'm all for that side of the equation." So it was good at the end there. He threw in what we give back to the players because the asks of those players, the asks, like you'd mentioned, of the coaches, the asks of the fans becomes more and more and more.
It's not going to stop. The only thing that would stop it, and this is the, pet project of this show and every time I'm on any show, if you have collective bargaining in place and you know that the escalating salaries, the arms race for coaching staff, the facilities, that everything else is going to stop and you're going to have a clear understanding of what the budget is going to be, at least on the player side moving forward, then you may not have to pursue every single last opportunity to squeeze $1 or $1 million or $10 million out of the broadcast partnerships. That's all of these things ultimately come back to player payments. And I get that it's frustrating for fans. It's frustrating for you, for me, for Baker, for Bo to talk about it all the time in terms of finances and not just on the field stuff. Yep. But when you're looking at playoff expansion, when you're talking about Big Ten expansion, all of this stuff is now coming back to the simple reality that you have to pay the players, and every single year, it is getting more and more and more expensive. And the opportunities that they have to chase that money are limited. So we can say, well, this format competitively makes no sense for Ohio State. They're always going to be in the playoff. Hey, that's a thumbs up for them. But no regular season game that the Buckeyes ever play again is going to have real consequences for it. And that's a thumbs down. But that's, if you want to have a championship roster to win in the playoff, then that's the trade that, unfortunately, you're probably going to have to make.
Spencer Holbrook covers all things Buckeyes, basketball, and football. Letterman Row. He'll join us in 2 minutes. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
It's truck season at Germain Toyota, and the deals are about as tough as the trucks. Get into a new 2026 Toyota Tundra with $299% financing for up to 72 months, plus $1,000 in Toyota Financial Services finance cash, or lease a 2026 Tacoma SR5 for just $289 a month for 39 months, 10,000 miles per year, and $36.99 due at signing. Power, reliability, and offers that work as hard as you do. Visit Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or check them out online at germaintoyota.net.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And you can clip and save more with digital coupons in the Kroger app. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's always easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
Right now, USDA Choice Bone-In Ribeye Steaks are on sale for only $9.99 a pound in the value pack with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Morgan & Morgan isn't just an injury firm. It's our family's life work. It's my husband, it's my sons, it's me. When we take a case, we see a family just like ours. $30 billion recovered is something I'm proud of. But what I'm really proud of are the families we stood beside. It's an honor to fight for you when you need our support the most. Morgan & Morgan, for the people and your family.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
The nightmare of the cleared drain. Those drain clearing specials from the other guys seem like a great deal until you realize the only thing really going down your drain is your money. At the Waterworks, we mean clean. Our service doesn't just clear your drains, it cleans them too. It's done right the first time, so that nightmare of a drain becomes a dream come true. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call 614-232-2222 to get started.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. He knows everything about the Buckeyes. He's been offered tens of dollars by a certain team to spill his secrets. He's told that certain team to go to hell.
Damn you all to hell!
He's Austin Ward.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co. Kids eat half off every Monday. Find a location and menu at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank Distillery.
So he is with us for the next 90 minutes.
I'm right here.
Eric Reeser, Ryan Baker as well, going out now to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Spencer, it is contractually obligated. So Mondays at 10:30, that does have to air. But our guest is Spencer Holbrook from Letterman Row. Bud, thanks so much for giving us the time this morning. I wanted to start with Gus Johnson calling Ohio State men's basketball a poverty program. Where do you stand on his comments first half of a game?
I thought they were bizarre. I thought they were kind of par for the course when it comes to Gus anymore. He kind of has the ability to fly off the handle a little bit. Not super surprising that he just brings random things up in games. I can name a few different examples of that. But yeah, I also thought that it was just, I don't know, it's not entirely wrong that Ohio State could probably spend more on basketball, but also, they're not completely broke. There's a 5-star coming in the next class. They spent some money this year. It hasn't exactly panned out, but I thought it was extremely bizarre. But with Gus, you kind of never know what to expect.
You never do. That in the press box when he's in there can be a dangerous place to be as well, as you know, Spencer. When you look at last week, you wrote going into it, you have the USC game, you had a quad one opportunity against Virginia. That was one of the more pivotal weeks of Jake Diebler's career. And then it's like, all right, well, you went 1-1. Now you kick the can into this week, which now becomes the most important week of his career.
Yeah, like you said, it's a continuation, because if you would have lost to USC, the season would have been over. So at least you have that feather in your cap that you kind of extended everything by a few days. And then you take your chance against Virginia, a game that you probably weren't supposed to win, but also one that was so winnable and just slipped away. 1-1 isn't the worst result, obviously, but also now it's just we enter another. How important is this week for Ohio State basketball? And, now it's almost the exact same recipe where you have a quad 2 game and a quad 1 game. You better win both of them, but you have to win at least one of them. And so are you going to go 1-1 again with a quad 2 win and a quad 1 loss? That's still not a recipe to get you into the NCAA tournament. But if you do that, you probably kick that can down the road and make next week the most important week of Diebler's career again. So it's just kind of a same situation heading into this week. And when you can't win 2 straight games in the Big Ten, which they haven't done, I think since December started, that's kind of how it's going to be for this team.
Spencer, 6 games left on the schedule here for the Buckeye basketball team. What do you think is the ideal scenario for them right now to make it into the tournament?
Well, you've got to beat either Purdue, Michigan State, or Iowa. I think you probably should win 2 of those 3 to try to get in. You got to beat Indiana and Penn State to close out the year. Like I said, they can't win 2 straight Big Ten games right now. So you're going to have to be able to do that at some point. You can't just keep going 1-1 across all of these weeks. Even if you do get a win over one of the heavy hitters like a Michigan State or a Purdue or any of these quad 1 games that are left. So, can they go 4-2? That's a tough ask, but it's also probably what they have to do. If they can do that, I think they're in, because then I think they'll be playing well enough to have a well-rested John Mobley back, and then you go into the Big Ten tournament, maybe you can win a game or 2. I think that probably gets them in. I don't know about 3-3, and anything less than that, I think you're probably watching from home and probably going to decline that NIT invite if you make a change. If you don't, maybe they'll do that. I don't know, but I think 4-2 is probably the bare minimum to get them in.
Letterman Rose, Spencer Holbrook is our guest on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Let's move over to football here with Tony Petitti and Ross Bjork talking about a 24-team college football playoff in the not-too-distant future. What were your thoughts when you heard that was something being trumpeted by Big Ten brass?
It's just another proposal by Tony Petitti. I don't understand.
He loves it.
I just don't quite understand what his end game is. Is it to make his proposals look so outlandish that everyone agrees on a consensus among all of the ADs or the commissioners? Is it what he actually wants to happen and what he truly believes? And if that's the case, I don't know if he should be in that job, because 24 just doesn't really seem that appetizing to many people, even the people who love more football. I understand why the athletic directors who are now paying the athletes believe that they need more revenue to get to pay the players, so maybe add more games. But you're gonna alienate some folks in this, and I just don't understand why we continue to get these outlandish proposals from the Big Ten that the other commissioners just clearly are not going to go along with. But I guess that's Tony Petitti's prerogative in those meeting rooms, because he just continues to deliver these wild playoff proposals that he knows aren't going to go anywhere.
You said something at the start, Spencer, that I think is really interesting. It's like, what is Tony Petitti's motivation? Like, we don't really know, outside of his background being with broadcasting and working with these partners, and everything seems to be about television inventory, which I guess that's the primary motivating factor. But we also so rarely hear from him. It's almost exclusively once a year at Big Ten football media days, and everything else that he seems to do, his messaging gets wildly off base, and it's all based on his actions, which I guess they speak louder than words. But I feel like the Big Ten has done a very poor job of communicating all of this.
I agree, and I've started to liken it a little bit to, if you're a golf fan, I know you are, Austin, like Jay Monahan, the former PGA Tour commissioner, who just kind of lost the plot, and he was only in front of a microphone once a year, and when he was, it was more about TV revenue and making the sponsors happy than it was about, like, hey, what are you going to do to make this thing better? And Petitti kind of strikes me the same way. Like, he speaks once a year at Big Ten Media Days, like you said. The people who get called on in those settings have very huge questions to ask him, and then he has only like 30 seconds to respond. You don't get a lot out of him. And then he just kind of goes back into his office for 364 days. And the only thing that you hear out is like, hey, in the playoff meeting, he said this, and it sounds kind of ridiculous, but here's why he wants it. Well, if he was out, with his message a little more often, maybe we would have a little bit deeper of an understanding of what he actually wants out of all of this. Like you said, it just reminds me of like, you're almost throwing things at a dartboard. I won't say visionless, because I would imagine that the people in Rosemont do have a vision for what they want. But man, like, the messaging just gets so lost because we hear all of these playoff proposals and just constantly talking about the money, and it doesn't seem to be about anything else. And I wish that there was just more substance in what we heard out of the commissioner. Yeah.
Spencer, in the Big Ten's proposal, it talks about moving to 16 teams in 27 and 28 and then going to 24. Where does that make sense? Why not, if we want to get to 24, and why not just get to 24? Why do we have to do this in baby steps?
It's not like you need to implement it over the years. I don't know. It's so bizarre to me. The weirdest thing to me is like they won't even let a format take hold and see if people like it over time. Like I didn't like the 4-team, but the 4-team grew on me. The 12-team, I thought, okay, like you're going to get some interesting matchups, but now we've had 2 years of the 12-team with 2 different formats for the 12-team, and now we're already talking about 16, 24, 32, 48, however many it's going to be. Like, I don't know if I like this 12-team format yet, and I don't even know if the commissioners know if they like the 12-team format yet. They just see the dollar signs that come with 16 and 24, and they want to jump there. But sometimes you just have to let a playoff format set in to see if you like it. And, the NBA right now is a few years into a new playoff format. Seems like there's some mixed reviews on it, but at least we have some data to tell us, like, here's what people like about it, here's what people don't like about it. We can't even get there right now in college football because we just want to continue to shuffle around the criteria to make a certain seed and what happens if this team goes 10-2 or is in the top 12 and do they automatically get in? Like, we don't know any of this because we have no data set. They just keep messing with the playoff, tweaking it, and hoping that it works year over year, when in reality, like, we probably need like a 10-year sample set to tell us if we like this or not.
There's no such thing as an off season. Read his work from the football Buckeyes and the basketball Buckeyes over at Letterman Roll. He's Spencer Holbrook. Thanks so much for giving us the time today, bud.
Thanks, guys. Always appreciate it.
And Austin, I did want to ask, when you have the chance to talk to Ryan Day, undoubtedly this will be brought up, the 24-team playoff. What do you think his answer is going to be?
Yeah, I don't think that Ross Bjork would be coming out so strongly in favor of this proposal if there was disagreement in the Woody Hayes Athletic Center about it. I know that this goes back 4 or 5 years. Was one of the first times that I heard about the championship weekend and the qualification was at the coach's golf outing in the summer, and Ryan Day said, well, this is, as they're Kevin Warren and Tony Petitti down the road, this is sort of what they envision. You have 1 versus 2, you make a lot of money off of that. You remove, both teams are going to get your automatic qualifying spot, but you still want to be able to crown a champion. And then they're going to do this stuff. They're talking about 3 versus 6 and 4 versus 5. Like, this has been going on for a very long time before a lot of the details have spilled over publicly. And I assumed when a lot of the stuff about 24 teams was coming out in the last week or 2 weeks with these documents, that was still the original plan to me, was incorporate those championship weekends. That's also how you got the math to 24. That part wasn't going to be a true college football playoff. The Big Ten was going to control its path to sending the 4 automatic qualifiers on to the next level. And now that's why I'm talking about with Spencer there, the muddled messaging, because I wouldn't actually have any real opposition to that plan. And if they had articulated it more clearly over the last couple of years, well, technically you can say that it's a playoff, but here's your qualification and it's separate from this deal and that deal. They have never really publicly outlined that in a way that people can understand. Well, oh yeah, I do like that, because now you have a clear path for qualification. There's going to be 2 games that actually matter, that have playoff stakes. They get you into the playoff. Then, like, they never really described it that way. And maybe that's because there have been 15 million different proposals from Tony Petitti and the Big Ten about how they want to get to that point. But that was one that I thought could have garnered more support. And we can argue about whether you should have the 1 versus 2 game, if that's actually a detriment to the teams that are absolutely going to be in the playoff if they need to play a game that doesn't have those stakes. We saw that with Ohio State and Indiana this year in Indianapolis. We could maybe have a reasonable debate about that part, but the rest, you're like, well, that would be pretty cool if you had, what if you had a double header? You have 1 game in Detroit, 1 in Indy, and 3 versus 6 and 4 versus 5, and like most significant games of the year for the Big Ten. That'd be pretty cool. But they never took that approach, and they never really put that out there to be like, hey, here's our playoff propaganda. Would you like to buy into this? There was no trial balloon for that. There's just been a million other things floated out, and just the focus on, well, Tony Petitti wants 24. And I know that it's shifting the way he wants to get to that point now, but like, they also skipped right past something that I think people might have supported.
some muddled messaging from a former president. You'll hear from him next. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction or your money back. File in the Credit Karma app.
This is the Daily Show with Coach Jake Diebler, brought to you by Encova Insurance. 70-66, Virginia defeats Ohio State. Jake, this was a game where certainly it created the kind of competition you wanted to see. Just initially, what are some of your thoughts about how it turned out?
Yeah, I thought our guys really battled hard. I think we took a step forward in some areas, certainly on the defensive side. But, offensively, we just didn't get kind of some of those same opportunities there down the stretch that we were getting earlier in the game. We had some unique lineups for obvious reasons, but I thought that jammed up our execution a couple times in some costly moments. I thought we needed to do a little bit better job playing through contact at times, but Virginia's a really good team. I think, we battled really hard, proud of the heart that we showed, but, just wasn't enough to get the job done at the end of the day.
All right, we'll have another comment in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the court. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. Basketball is full of challenging shots, and life can be too. With Encova, you don't have to do it alone. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
70-66 the final. Virginia defeats Ohio State.
Virginia, coach, is one of the better defensive teams in the country. What was the difficulties in dealing with a team that pressed you the entire game, and then on top of that, having a shortened bench today?
Yeah, well, I think, we had to go to a couple of different press breakers. I think their pressure and the physicality that, they were allowed to play with on the perimeter. We handled for the most part really well. There were a couple instances where we got to be a little tougher with the ball in traffic. But I think we didn't have a whole lot of issue getting the ball across half court. Minus a couple times, we had to call a couple timeouts that ultimately hurt us. Or we would have liked to have been able to keep one of those down the stretch to be able to challenge one of those last plays. But I think our guys had guys in different spots today, so they. All in all, I thought we did a pretty good job handling the pressure and getting the ball up into our half-court offense.
It's the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Around here, it's all-wheel drive all year round, and Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone. Now through March 2nd, get 4.99 APR financing on a new 26 Corolla or Corolla Hybrid, excludes GR and Corolla Cross, or lease a new gas-powered Corolla LE for $199 a month, or 39 months with $36.99 due at signing, with approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details, or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Why does it matter to members that Aetna was named a Best Medicare Advantage company by U.S. News & World Report? Because they chose a plan that gives them real support, real people, and real care. We show up with care management that ensures doctors work together on complicated conditions. We show up with the latest in online tools to make healthcare easier to use anytime. We don't show up for awards. We show up for you. And showing up for you is how healthier happens together.
I started my first business when I was 12, mowing lawns for about $5 a yard. I learned if you do the job right, people trust you and customers care that you show up and do what you say you're going to do. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Doors. From garage door repairs to upgrades, we show up, we stand behind every job. We only use the best parts, and spring's guaranteed to last a lifetime. When you care about the people you serve, you work harder and it shows. Call Don's Garage Doors today or schedule online at donsgaragedoors.com.
When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
Well, some former Buckeyes are showing out in Milan right now. We are about 8 minutes into the first period between USA and Sweden. Women's hockey semifinals. Former Buckeye Kayla Barnes drew first blood for Team America. They got 3 Buckeyes on that Team USA squad. Ohio State is the only school that has a representative on each of the Final 4. And so you got, again, America and Sweden right now. 12 minutes left to go in the first period from Milan. We'll keep you abreast on how that game goes as we move throughout the show.
Thing or not a thing?
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
So that's definitely a thing. In a recent interview with Brian Tyler Cohen, former President Barack Obama was asked the question I think we all would like to have to a former president.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens?
Thing or not a thing?
Why is he pretending like he didn't know the name of Area 51? Little suspicious on that response, don't you think, Reeser?
Well, just a little. The whole thing's pretty suspicious.
I mean,
because why doesn't Brian Tyler Cohen follow up with, so where are they?
He directly said in the affirmative, are they real? Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're real, baby. But they're not. And what do you call it down there? What's that place in New Mexico? I can't remember. Has it got a number? Club 54. Is that what you call it? Very suspicious there.
Sure,
Obama.
He's partied at Club 54 too in his day as well. But
some aliens in there.
I mean, the aliens don't have to be at Area 51. They could be wherever. So I
right,
don't know.
But now again the follow up, because he started to do rapid fire with Barack. It's like, all right, where?
I just think it's so interesting that he immediately, I think they're real. Yeah,
So
they're out there.
Didn't even dance around.
Where have you seen them, Barack? Have you interacted with them? We need all of the questions here.
We demand the full alien files.
I mean, it goes back to Independence Day where he learns right on the plane that, well, that's not entirely accurate, Mr. President. I wonder if that was a conversation had with him on like his second day. Because I think in the most chaotic timeline, Eric Reeser's president.
Yeah.
And that would be my first question. I'm walking to the Oval Office. Where are them aliens? I mean, yes, I have other questions, but for the sake of this discussion, where are them aliens at, Barack?
What other question would you really have?
Not getting into that.
Yeah, if you became the president.
NBC Sports' Reggie Miller caught up with Obama yesterday at the NBA's All-Star Game.
I want to shift to Chicago, and you mentioned the 90s, your time there, and that run by Michael Jordan in Chicago. Do you have a favorite moment during that time in Chicago during the 90s?
I always enjoyed watching us beat Indiana.
Oh my goodness!
Although
I will do that to me. I knew you were going to say that.
I will say that nobody terrified me more than Reggie Miller with a possible three-point shot at the end of a game. You did push off Michael on that one play, though.
Come on, Mr. President.
Everybody knows
Did he push off in the Utah series? No, right? They didn't call it, right?
No. Well, we gave it to you. You had to come back in Game 7, though. Didn't happen.
Thing or not a thing?
Pretty good sports memory on that guy. It's weird that he can't remember Area 51.
I was just about to say, he can remember vivid details from Bulls-Pacers series or Bulls-Pacers games in the 90s, but where they have the aliens?
Yeah, that's the thing. I know that's why you stacked them back to back. Immediately undermining the faulty memory. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fun when you have politicians, presidents give reminders that they're humans and that maybe they like sports like we do. So I like that part. You see, Trump now showing up with whether that's Army, Navy, or his investment in golf, like that we all bleed real blood. Yep. We're not aliens, and we like sports.
And one thing about Obama, you knew always, he was a big-time college basketball fan. They always did or a basketball fan in general. They always did the bracketology with him all the time. He almost always picked North Carolina for some reason. But he was he always did that. And I know he had he knew he was going to be doing this interview with Reggie Miller, but good on him to immediately go to Indiana, because there are so many things from the 90s Bulls that I would go to before Indiana. So good job out of him to have that ready and needle Reggie a little bit.
Speaking of Michael Jordan, his 2311 NASCAR team won the Daytona 500 yesterday. Tyler Reddick was the driver, winning only one lap. The only lap you need, the final lap. He survived like 2 insane car crashes to win that for Jordan. Thing or not a thing?
Yeah, thing. It's good to know that MJ is able to find some success leading an organization in a coaching type role when that didn't quite happen for him in the NBA. So good for him. Would never pretend to be a huge fan of NASCAR, but seems like if we think college football's had a chaotic offseason, NASCAR has certainly got a lot more insane, maybe even than college football has been. So to start with that in a signature race and see, well, it's marred by the pileups. Well, that's sort of what Daytona is known for as well. But I think that's a big feather in the cap there. I don't know if that'll be sustainable, but it doesn't have to be. Daytona will live forever.
I think it's a cool thing for Michael Jordan, and I'll talk a little bit more about him with the year he's had with NASCAR here in the Weekend Blitz. But very cool for him, very awkward, him rubbing the back of Tyler Reddick's kid's leg in the victory circle there. Kind of an awkward moment for Michael Jordan, but very cool thing for him, very cool win for Tyler Reddick. And it just so happened Tyler Reddick was one of the 5 that I might have sprinkled a little on.
Oh, there you go.
And at 35-1, that's a nice little Daytona 500.
You could absolutely say you had that. We'll blitz the weekend coming up next. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
Germain Honda of Dublin cares about your vehicle and your time, and they do that with same-day service with no appointment necessary. Sell them your vehicle at their buying center and get paid as soon as the same day. Shop great lease and finance offers on all the Honda favorites like the Passport, the Odyssey, and the redesigned Pilot. Service it, sell it, or drive something new. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road just south of 270 or online at germainhondaofdublin.com.
What does it mean to live here, serve here in the Ohio Army National Guard?
It means I can attend college full-time and not have to take out student loans to pay for my tuition.
It means I can work my civilian job during the week and support my state and nation in times of need.
You too can live here, serve here as a member of the Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with full-time benefits at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard in coordination with the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Getting cold feet? Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix your furnace fast. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jeff's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination, where Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge, and Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Jeff is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Attention, men. If you wake up and you feel like you got hit by a truck, if your waistband keeps creeping out, if your bedroom game is rated M for missing, you feel it, she notices it, and you're not alone. For many guys, this is ED and low testosterone. That's where Columbus Men's Clinic, powered by Men's Pro, comes in. We didn't copy men's health trends. We built a playbook since 2014. Labs in minutes, in-person care for better results, urology-backed science. A recent 54-year-old patient told us, I feel like I'm 30 again. He's crushing it at work and back in the gym, lifting like he did years ago. Oh, in his words, not mine, fun is back in the bedroom. I feel like a beast. Another guy said, they treated me like a person, not a patient. I wish I came in sooner. We have treatments that work for over 92% of men, even when the pills fail. And this month, when you start a treatment plan, your first month is on us. Call 614-300-7400. That's 614-300-7400 or go to columbusmensclinic.com.
Listen to Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles this Saturday morning at 9 on 1460 AM, covering topics like what you need to know about annuities and how to stay healthy and enjoy retirement. Financially Fit Radio this Saturday morning at 9 on 1460 AM.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. 6 opportunities remain for Ohio State to make the big dance. ESPN's Joe Lunardi has the Buckeyes on the first 4 outline following their 4-point loss to Virginia this past Saturday in Nashville. Hear from Ohio State's head coach today at noon on the Jake Diebler radio show. His Buckeyes are back at the Shot on Tuesday, hosting Wisconsin at 8:30. As for the Ohio State women's squad, the 8th-ranked Buckeyes fell at home yesterday to number 20 Maryland, 76-75. Ohio State's at Minnesota on Wednesday. The Buckeyes are well represented among the final 4 teams in women's hockey at the Winter Olympics. Kayla Barnes struck first for Team USA, who leads Sweden 1-0 in the first period of their semifinal matchup. Winner gets Switzerland or Canada in the gold medal game. The U.S. men's team has a bye into Wednesday's quarterfinals. They'll play the winner of Tuesday's game between Sweden and Latvia. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union, voted best local credit union for the last 8 years by CBUS Top Picks. Visit BMIFCU.org to learn more.
Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yes, you are. Eric Reeser, Austin Ward, Ryan Baker rolling with you on a President's Day edition of the program. Bo's enjoying life out in California, where it's probably not much warmer because we're in
just as much fog.
We're in a bit of a heat wave, maybe a little bit, lesser on the fog for today's perspective, but
had that marine layer out there this morning.
Boy, you couldn't see past your hands.
It's crazy.
Stuck it out there like, where's my dog? Oh, there he is. He's
getting ready to pull out of the driveway this morning. I can't see the end of the block. Where are we?
We get emails about like weather. Or the 10 weather impact team sends us emails if today's going to be a weather impact day. And we get one last night. And I'm like, what the hell is going to be the weather for? It's going to be fog. I'm like, there's not going to be that bad of fog. And yeah, you couldn't really see much in front of you.
We're just making history.
Hope everybody was safe on their drives in and around Columbus today, please. Whenever stuff's falling from the sky or your visibility's tight, it feels like we all just lose our minds. Don't.
We survived.
Watch out. We did. We survived and we're here. Tomorrow, well, it's TBD. I mean,
it's another challenge.
We're all just going a day at a time.
Bishop and Friends present a weekend sports blitz.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 3 restaurant locations: Grandview, Gahanna, and now in Westerville. Drink local. Drink High Bank.
Had some High Bank this weekend, Austin. There were a lot of sports on that kind of just made the peripheral, like your background noise, something on your second or your third screens, like the NBA All-Star Game. A lot of just random Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
For me.
The biathlon. Got into that. Watched that. The shooting. They were saying, I was watching research. They said, this is the highest rated winter sport on television in Europe. And I was like, what?
I buy that.
How often is it on? Is there like a professional league? Now I'm going down the rabbit hole.
That the woman from Italy that won the gold in whatever distance they did. I know it took her about 30 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
she was unbelievable with her shot. Like, she was 5 for 5 every time in her shooting, and that won her the gold medal. She was fantastic.
It's like the announcer is trying to dumb it down for the American audience. Like, well,
I always appreciate
that. The target is the size of a DVD, and the bullseye is the size of a golf ball. It's like, all right, great. He said it one time, he said it 100 times.
Called it a DVD. You've probably got half your audience being like, what the heck is that?
My daughter would be like, what is a DVD?
From the weekend, Austin, what did you have?
Well, I had on Friday night to kick it off. We're 12 days to go, 13 days to go until the Elimination Chamber research. So we have the qualifiers going on. No doubt in my mind, none, that the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes would advance, and that Columbus's own Alexa Bliss would get through her qualifier on Friday night on SmackDown. So they are both in the chamber, Baker, and I had it for sure.
So they're going to be they're not wrestling each other in the chamber.
No, that would be.
They're in different chambers.
There's a men's and a women's chamber.
Okay, you have to explain that to me like I'm 5.
Sorry, I should have.
When you say Elimination Chamber, I think back to like Goldberg.
Well, so what they have next week, Reeser, in Chicago on my birthday. So the Wards will, of course, be making the trek over there. Yeah. You have they have pods. So you'll start with, there's 4 pods. 4 of the wrestlers will be released, sort of like a hybrid between a Royal Rumble and a Hell in a Cell. And first 2 will start, and then they'll every 3 or 4 minutes they will release someone. The lights will go down, and the pods will be, illuminated for the next person who's released until we are down to the one lone winner. Everyone gets eliminated until the chamber has just one survivor.
So when you're the sole survivor of the Elimination Chamber, then what? Do you get the belt?
You get, you'll have the opportunity. So you have the Royal Rumble winner, which was, of course, Roman Reigns, the OTC. One's in the air for the men, and Liv Morgan for the women. So they have their opportunity to pick who they face at WrestleMania for the championship. And the winner of the Elimination Chamber, the men's and women's matches, they will have a title match against the other champion in the men's and women's divisions.
We're doing Mania in Vegas this year?
It is back for a second go round. And part of the reason that we are going to the Elimination Chamber in Chicago and not WrestleMania, which Liberty got tickets for Christmas, is because the Ohio State spring game got moved back to April 18th. So we've had to pivot. That didn't work out great for me.
Baker, what'd you have?
That's a little bit of a bummer.
It is.
That's a little bit of a bummer.
There were tears, and Liberty was crying too.
I can't imagine that conversation.
It was bad.
Yeah. That's a bucket list thing for a lot of wrestling fans.
I had that Olympic hockey is great. I don't know what it is about these guys, but when they put that jersey of their country over top of their head and onto their bodies, it's something clicks in these guys. Something goes, and it has just been fantastic watching some of this. Even the women have been fun to watch. Team USA has been a blast. You mentioned all of the Buckeye ties, 12 current or former Buckeyes on women's teams in this Olympics. The hockey has just been so good.
I had that Miami, the men's basketball team, is the best team in the Buckeye State in terms of college hoops. They beat Ohio soundly on Friday. It was a good effort by the Bobcats, but Miami's physical. They don't wait for anything, and they can take it. They can take and get any shot they want. I'm rooting for them to be 31-0. Maybe if they can be 30-1, because that final Battle of the Bricks will be in Athens up in March. But having Travis Steele on Friday, that's a team it's fun to root for, and the Mid-American Conference absolutely deserves 2 bids into the big dance. What didn't you have?
I suspected that it would be difficult for the Ohio State men to win on Saturday, but I thought that the women would avoid an ugly weekend for both sides of the hardwood for the Buckeyes. I thought they would win against Maryland.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that upset loss. It's not a deal breaker. They've built up a strong enough resume and solidly in position again to go to the NCAA tournament, a team that can make some noise, but especially when they built that second half lead, which I think reached as high as 19 points. I didn't think that was going to fall apart for them. So a tough setback there for the Buckeyes on Sunday. Did not anticipate that one.
I did not have that I would be kind of last minute enjoying some live sports this weekend, but I did. I ran over to Ohio Dominican and watched them play Findlay. Their first win against Findlay, I believe, in 5 tries. They got the upset win, so that was nice. And then yesterday, I went over and watched a buddy's son play in the finals of the CBJ Club Team Cup yesterday. Nice. The Hilliard Hockey Club won in 3 overtimes. So congratulations to them. That was a fun little live sports weekend.
Player who, well, I didn't have that the NBA All-Star Game would actually be entertaining. That was one of my peripheral viewing options yesterday. I had Pebble Beach on different screens with the Olympics, and I found myself kind of as Scotty Scheffler was having himself an afternoon. I mean, Colin Morikawa, that was really competitive golf, but the NBA All-Star Game, I think they found a format that works for them. They've just got to be able to now explain it in like 2 sentences.
That would help.
It was just so confusing. I don't think anybody really understood it. But when it played itself out and the players actually gave a rip and there was effort shown in those 6 games that were played, that's a format I think, as long as the effort's there, you can take into future years. Player who impressed, Austin.
Yeah, Bruce Thornton for me. I haven't written. I've only had 1 game that I've covered for Ohio State all year. We talked to Spencer Holbrook in the first hour of the show. He and Mick Walker have done a great job covering Ohio State basketball. But I went in and I wrote about the UCLA game a month ago. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to take the back seat again here. But watching Saturday night, the Virginia game, it's like, I feel like I have to get this off my chest. Like, Bruce Thornton is so impressive, game in, game out. And I'm just marveling at how he does it. The scoring touch, it's like some of these shots, the degree of difficulty, what he's executing, how much he's being asked to do, not just in minutes, but, productivity in all assets of the game, all aspects of the game. It's going to be so disappointing if he doesn't get to play a big dance game.
Yeah.
But Saturday, I was just like, especially without Mobley, he was phenomenal to watch. And I don't want that to go unappreciated, what he's doing.
For me, it's Macklin Celebrini. I talked a little bit about him earlier, but this 19-year-old is having a heck of an Olympics right now, and I know he's been really good for the San Jose Sharks this year. This seems like a coming-out party for him. I know Connor McDavid leads the tournament in scoring with 9 points. Celebrini has 6, but Celebrini's playing on a line with McDavid and sometimes driving the play. He is an impressive hockey player at just 19.
Scotty Scheffler on Sunday carded 9 under 63 for his final round at Pebble Beach. He finished 2 back of Morikawa for the win there. But yeah, if this is him warming up, this will be another year with Scotty as the absolute best player in the world. Who disappointed from the weekend, Austin?
Well, I was disappointed in Scotty Scheffler on Thursday because this is 2 weeks in a row where he's sort of played himself out of it and then just went bonkers on the weekend. So you're right. If I assume he's going to get that worked out probably in time to get to Augusta and then look out for what he can accomplish. But the finishing hole for Jacob Bridgman on 18, we're waiting for Colin Morikawa to finish up. He's having to go spend half an hour just gazing at the ocean and walking over to the cliffs, and the pressure's on. He's got to make birdie to win, and we'll talk about him a little bit more. He also impressed, huge win, and then a personal announcement. Like, what a cool way to punctuate a victory for him. But Bridgman, he's in contention. We think that he's just, he's left it out there, left on 18 into the par 5. It's in the bunker. No, he's actually on the real sand, off the cliffs, climbing down the hillside, decides to play it off the rocks. The real group back there trying to finish up is just waiting. Like, what is going on? Got to get this ruling. Chunks it off the rocks. It bounces off the side of the cliff back into the water. He's got to go back almost all the way to where Colin Morikawa is waiting in the fairway. He hits one hell of a shot from there, gets up and down for a crazy bogey. But I was ready to be done. Like, I'm invested in the tournament. It's been a great tournament. I didn't need the extra 30 minutes. It was like an overtime.
A player that disappointed for me was Devin Royal. And sometimes players have bad games, but it just some silly, dumb mistakes from him that you shouldn't be having from one of your leaders on your team, a guy that's played as much basketball as he is. Just 4 points and he fouls out in a game, especially without Junie Mobley. You really needed him.
Disappointed in me. I got by that fake Bryce Underwood tweet that made its rounds Friday night. We'll explain a little bit more about what I mean with that. We'll hand out our Bud Kilmer Honorary Coach of the Week. And then, you'll hear from Carlin Morikawa, who won at Pebble Beach yesterday and then dropped a really cool announcement in his post-game press conference. It's next. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
This tax season, save your refund. Get a 2026 Tucson or Santa Fe at 0% for 60 months and make no payments for 90 days. Columbus or Dublin or glexhyundai.com. See dealer for details. Offer ends through 2.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, one thing our Pella Columbus team is really serious about is to not be salesy or pushy. We're just here to listen and hopefully make your dream a reality.
Oh, I had a dream last night where I went back in time to a dinosaur's birthday party and had to fight a triceratops for the last cupcake.
I meant more like home makeover type of dreams.
Oh, okay. I just got the dinosaur thing.
Get the windows that can completely change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
Hey there, it's Bo Bishop here. When you're buying jewelry you don't guess, you go with the best. That's why I trust my friends at Diamond Seller. Whether it's a necklace, bracelet, earrings, or something a little more personal, Diamond Seller makes sure you get it right. Diamond Seller, Sawmill Road, Easton Town Center, online anytime at diamondseller.com.
Hey everybody, it's Jeremy Birmingham Berm from the Austin and Berm Show on 97.1 The Fan. I hit maintenance mode after dropping 35 pounds with Awaken 180. The Awaken 180 coaches made it simple. Now pizza and ice cream are back, but the cravings aren't. That's a complete mindset shift. Awaken180weightloss.com.
At Babs R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Babs R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued. Babs R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to babsrus.com. Babs R Us, where dreams soak in.
If only there was a radio show that constantly talked about Ohio State athletics. Well, good news. It's real, baby. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Proud to be your flagship home of the Buckeyes. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Get Eco.
ECO.
When your drain is clogged, our drain team will clear it for just $93.
If we can't clear it, it's free.
And we guarantee it will stay clear for at least a year, or we'll clear it again for free.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Go to geteco.com.
Do you have an oak tree in your yard? The Ohio chapter International Society of Arboriculture is committed to advancing responsible tree care practices while preventing a fungal disease called oak wilt. They remind those who own and manage oak trees the best time to prune is November to early March. To find out more, there are over 1,000 qualified tree experts in Ohio. To find an ISA certified arborist in your area, visit treesforohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Could see a little bit of patchy lingering fog. Otherwise, we turn mostly cloudy this afternoon with highs in the low 50s. For tonight, partly cloudy overnight with lows in the upper 30s. And then for Tuesday, we are mostly cloudy and warmer as highs get into the mid to upper 50s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yes, you are. Eric Reeser, Austin Ward, Ryan Baker along with you. Happy President's Day to those who celebrate. We're just essential personnel every day, so we're not necessarily celebrating, but we're here for you. you want to talk about your favorite president with Rothman and Ice, 821-9710. I don't know if today's the day they open the phone lines, but we certainly won't. But
I think they should.
On YouTube, if you want to tell us who your favorite president is, let us know.
Maddie's out there walking around in the hallway. I think he wants to hear.
He's just dying to get in here to give you his Mount Rushmore of presidents.
Yeah, I think he cannot wait. Maybe we'll just sneak him in.
He's going to have to.
We have crosstalk. We can ask him to put him on the spot when he comes in.
We don't usually do crosstalk, but you know what? Dad's out of town, so the kids can kind of do whatever.
Yeah, come on in, Maddie.
I've often said about this program, when Bo's not here, it's like the substitute rolling in the AV cart.
Well,
here's not what you expected. It's something. Hope you're entertained.
He's not going to take any days off when he finds out what I said about the state of Montana.
Well, it's either that or we could do some baseball here that would really get it going.
I mean, first official day.
Like they've
training
tanked
today.
the show and they start throwing shade at Montana, the beautiful state of Montana and its football programs, and they start talking about the wrong sport. The wrong sport's baseball.
It's like, I just can't do it anymore.
Can't do it with these idiots. We don't have, there's no show when he's not here. We just go to Westwood One Sports Radio for 3 hours. But we are your lead.
No, we're live and local, baby.
We have to be. Jake Diebler's show coming up at noon today. You're seeing right now a dominant performance by USA Women's Hockey. Former Buckeye Kayla Barnes had the lone goal, drew first blood in their semifinal match against Sweden. They had like 13 shots on goal compared to 2.
Just peppering them.
So it looks like for the men's and the women's hockey contest, it just all roads are collision course between USA and Canada, but that'll come later in the week. You've got to win your semifinal match today, and for the men, you've got to win quarterfinal games and semifinal. We talked about Colin Morikawa, pretty much unconscious all weekend at Pebble Beach. He was 22 under for the tournament. Morikawa, after that, was on with CBS Sports and had, I think, probably the best way to celebrate a win like that.
Embrace there with your wife, Kat. After nearly 2.5 years, you were once again a champion. Why was that moment so special for you two?
A lot of reasons. Put golf aside, we're actually expecting later this year in a few months, and we just started telling people this week, and we said what a better way and the best way to just announce it to the world if I was able to come out and win. And
that's awesome that he's able to do that.
How about that? I mean, what an incredibly cool way to celebrate. I mean, I guess he didn't have one of the exploding golf balls for, a gender reveal.
No, did not do the gender reveal on the course.
But if you did that at 18 at Pebble Beach.
PGA might frown upon that.
Especially with the wind blowing 40 miles an hour.
So I literally just saw this in the break. There was a bettor on DraftKings, and I don't know when they made this bet, but Colin Morikawa was 65-1. To win this weekend at some point. Again, I don't know if they did this before the tournament, after it had started, whatever, but they paired Colin Morikawa to win this tournament with the Atlanta Falcons to win the Super Bowl and the upcoming NFL football season. It was a $10 bet that would pay $53,460, and they cashed it out for $594 after Colin Morikawa won.
I think that was probably the right move.
I would do that too. I don't think the Falcons have a first-round pick.
I don't think the Falcons will even make the playoffs.
And handsome Kevin Stefanski in year one. I don't think it's going to be from...
I wouldn't put my faith in Stefanski.
Worst to
Just
first.
saying.
One of the worst in the league to first in the whole league by winning the Super Bowl. We have still to give out our Bud Kilmer Honorary Coach of the Week. But before we do that, I'm just going to say I was disappointed because last week, if you're an online person, you probably saw a video of what was purported to be Michigan football players inhaling a substance, smoking a substance that may or may not have been marijuana in what may or may not have been the Michigan locker room. And the big hullabaloo with it is, yes, while weed is legal in the state of Michigan, you probably can't do that in team facilities.
I think they probably have
there's probably a rule against
a program handbook that suggests that you're not able to do that.
Now, also with that video that we can neither confirm nor deny its validity, it's out there on social media. There was on Friday circulating what was supposed to be an apology from Bryce Underwood, who may or may not be featured in that video. Again, cannot confirm these things, but your pal Eric fell for the apology, and I posted at 971BFS, I said, what's a worse look, hotboxing your team's locker room or posting it on social media? Probably the latter.
I think it's probably revealing it would be the worst
bragging about that kind of a behavior,
especially given the way the season ended for that program. I think let's set aside
Again, all of this is just fun, speculative discussion.
Hypothetical and probably not real. And that's my point about this, is that Michigan football and Michigan sports and the athletic department as a whole has reached a point where the Michigan man mythos is such a laughingstock that a video like this, you can immediately see it and be like, you know what? I believe it. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
They're stealing. They're lying. They're committing actual felonies.
They're doing the marijuana.
Why not add drug use to that pile? That sounds right. It checks out. And it's been going on for so long that I just wonder at what point they have to retire the mantra itself. A Michigan man no longer stands for these things. And because everyone else already knows it's not true. And that's what, whether it's real, fabricated or not, it's just the fact that you can believe it tells you where Michigan is right now.
And it does factor to be one of those things where if there was any wrongdoing by Michigan players in the Michigan locker room with a legal substance, that's something that they would handle in-house, and you'll probably never hear an official statement from. But the Michigan man, yeah, that ethos gone.
I believe that someone from Michigan has gotten involved with the Canada curling program as well, because they're cheating all the time now, too, it sounds like.
Cheating like crazy.
That was going to be my Bud Kilmer honorary coach of the week in a negative and be like, whoever's running Canada curling.
Yeah.
Must be a Michigan man.
Because in men's doubles and in women's doubles, there are allegations of cheating, and then they went to the video, and it showed the hurler push the stone and then try to push it with their finger like a split second after releasing it, which is the biggest no-no in curling.
Double touch. Yeah, once the stone gets to the hog line, it must be released.
Wait, I'm sorry.
You guys are using all kinds of terms here.
The hog line?
The hurler and the hog line?
The hurler throws the stone.
That's
Michigan players reportedly getting stoned, but that's neither here nor there.
You guys didn't know, so I just wanted to leave it to live. But I am in the Curling Hall of Fame.
Hell yeah, brother.
Because my wife and I and Steven Imes, who was the skip of our team, and my buddy Ben Stewart, we threw an 8-ender in a competition in a bonspiel up in Michigan. So that's the curling equivalent of a hole-in-one. That's scoring all 8 points in one end. You automatically earn a spot there in the Hall of Fame. Your name goes down as people who've had an 8-ender. So
you dominate at land grant on the weekends.
I've actually never done it with the keg curling.
I do want to try that.
I
keep saying it every year. We got to make it out there for.
But if you haven't ever tried, if you've been watching curling on TV, the Columbus Curling Club, huge membership drive right now. Learn to Curls, look them up. Fantastic folks out there. I could not recommend it highly enough. Allie and I have had to retire competitively,
of course,
for the last several years. Gets a little bit more complicated.
Go out on top.
Yeah, it's like, well, we can't really do much better.
We've accomplished all we can do.
I am officially changing my I did not have that for this weekend.
I thought that might be the case.
That's for me as well.
But so watching that, we do have a little bit of insight into the double touch rule and how much of a no-no that is. And I was telling Risa early on, I held back the big reveal, but I was dropping enough clues that I thought he might pick up. Well, maybe Austin played curling at some point. It's like, it's a gentleman and a gentlewoman sport. There are not officials there. You don't go to video replay. You call the penalties on yourself. You do all the scoring yourself. You do all the measuring inside the house yourself. Like, all of that is up to the competitors. So for them to, the teams that are playing Canada, for them to publicly call that out and say, we need someone to help here, they are breaking the rules, is a huge step. You don't see a scandal like this. You might say, well, that's not an actual scandal. It's barely touching something. It might not have made any difference 20 yards down the ice. It just doesn't happen. You don't see something, and it'll, especially for a team representing Canada, which they're the ultimate sports, right?
Yeah.
Canadians.
You think they're the ultimate polite sportsmen.
Sportsmen. For them to be at the center of this, I think
sportswomen
is going to be driving them crazy. And I would have never guessed that would happen to Canada.
So this was from the Associated Press. Footage circulating online appeared to show Mark Kennedy breaching curling rules by touching the granite stone with his outstretched finger after he had already released it. And so I guess they do this in a match against Sweden. Sweden says, whoa, he cheated, has to go to the judge. Then they go to the video. And they're still reviewing that. What Canada now is saying is that they're a target of a premeditated attack by Sweden.
Oh, come on.
Mark Kennedy, who's the curler in question here, acknowledged he probably could have handled it better after launching an expletive-laden outburst towards the Swedish curling team.
Also very un-Canadian.
Yeah, he said a lot of F words there, don't you know?
I mean, we say that, but they do have Tom Wilson and Brad Marchand on their hockey team. So,
oh, touche. Maybe Canada is losing their edge.
I was going to go a different direction. I'm saying Canada's leaning into the villain role here because
just like Michigan.
They have Tom Wilson fighting at the Olympics.
Is it a coincidence that Michigan is touching Canada?
And over the weekend, maybe last week, there was a bridge in question between Michigan and Canada.
How deep does it go?
This is
baby.
This is right up there with our Area 51 discussion.
Wow.
This is Bridgegate 2026.
I don't know how Sweden factors into this, but we'll figure that out.
Where's Brian Windhorst?
Brian Windhorst is on one of our television screens along with USA and Sweden in the women's hockey semifinals. He's wondering, what is the problem with how Chris Paul's career ended? Because that's what we want to talk about on a President's Day Monday.
But that's not what he's thinking of. He's
wondering how deep does it go for Team Canada?
Curling scandals in the Michigan locker room.
Curling calamity that has fallen on the Canadians. We'll, I guess, have more as the week goes on.
Some good alliteration right there.
Thank you. Caleb Downs. Can you take him
also
number one?
C.
Can you take him number one overall? We'll discuss next. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
Looking for TRT, Synergenics, and Low T Center? Take Most Insurance and customize each dose of testosterone for maximum safe results. Don't compromise your health or your savings. Go to Synergenics.com or LowTCenter.com to book your free test today.
Hey, it's Matty Ice. February is the month of love, and my buddies at McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion have the deals you'll love all month long. You can lease a brand new 26 Chevy Silverado for $289 a month for 36 months with only $39.98 due at signing, or you can save up to $13,000 off MSRP if you finance. Terms and restrictions apply. They have one of the largest selections of Silverados in the area. They're just off Route 23095 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Looking to grow your money in 2026? Kemba Financial Credit Union has secure savings options to fit your lifestyle. From everyday savings to high-yield certificates and flexible money market accounts, your money works harder here. It's a better way to bank. Rooted locally and powered by real people across Central Ohio who are committed to making a lasting difference, empowering you to meet and exceed your financial goals. Check today's rates at kemba.org/rates. Federally insured by NCUA.
No one plans to get into an accident, but when it happens, we strive in making life easier for you. This is Justin Hinderer. The Hinderer Motor Company Collision Center is ICAR certified and certified by many manufacturers to provide the best quality repair available. All of our repairs come with a lifetime warranty. We have our own 24/7 towing service so you never have to wait. Plus, we offer on-site rental cars for every lifestyle. At Hinderer Motor Company, we love what moves you.
Getting the cold shoulder? Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix your furnace fast. Call 1-800-COOLING.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Airflow Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
Bo's out, so we brought one of our most interesting friends on the program today, in Austin Ward. Right here at the Fan and at Letterman Row. Are you going to Roosters later today?
I'm going straight from here to Roosters. We've got a big live show going.
You look properly prepared for that endeavor.
You can tell that I'm a loyal supporter of
who's on today's programming.
We have the General Bobby Carpenter and Justin Zwick. So the normal crew is back in. Last week we had Zach Bourne and Brad Robinson for a good show. Bobby is all over the place, just traveling the world.
Yes.
And he's got to head to Miami.
And he's about to leave tomorrow. So both Bob and Jay-Z are on the Buckeye cruise. They are leaving, so we are able to grab them quickly and preview their vacation in a fantastic fundraising opportunity, one of the best that you can find as they cruise to stop cancer. I never like to say cruise for cancer. It sounds like it's in support.
Sound like you're supporting.
Yeah, it's a cruise against cancer. But awesome people raising millions of dollars. It's very cool that they get Bobby and Jay-Z and so many other Buckeyes are doing that every single year. Great people there and great people at Roosters because it's a fun, casual joy.
And next week starts the NFL Scouting Combine. So 11 Buckeyes are going to Indianapolis for a week of poking and prodding and questions and maybe some answers. And one of the most nonsensical times of the year, in my opinion. I think a lot more time than should gets wasted at the NFL scouting combine, but they love to do it. They love to put it on, and they make the biggest deal of it. Like, it's Rory McIlroy had the best quote about the NFL last week, and they slow drip you every single day during the offseason, and this is more of that. But I'm going to ask you both right now without too much time, so I didn't prep you on this. The most NFL-ready Buckeye is?
Caleb Downs.
Is that even a question?
Well, it's a question I pose to you as a way to transition into this conversation, because it's not just you two saying it.
Well, it's actually Jeremiah Smith, but Caleb Downs is the only one you can draft.
He's
fair.
Of the 11 Buckeyes, I guess I should have made that little caveat, but I was thinking on my toes there.
Well, you were getting a little too confident that you both knew we were going to say Caleb Downs. So
I knew exactly what you would say.
Even then, I would say it's pretty close to equal, right? Like, I don't know how much more NFL ready Jeremiah is than Caleb. They're pretty neck and neck.
Caleb is technically more NFL ready because he is eligible to be drafted.
He's last his collegiate eligibility.
I'm going to have to give him the edge on that one.
I guess unless he found a judge in Franklin County.
Oh.
Because that's what these guys are doing. You saw with Joe Aguilar and Trinidad Chambliss.
It's coming.
They went judge shopping. Caleb won't. I'm thrilled that Ohio State isn't going to play in that sandbox.
Boy, they have, though. Let's not bring that back up.
Not yet. Well, not for this incarnation.
It's been 24 years, but they've played in that sandbox. Well, you're talking about actually trying to win that way. I was thinking about Maurice Clarett.
Well, of course. That would have been the last time they did something in that realm.
Yeah, my mind went negative, and you were talking positive.
I'm thrilled it's not going to have to go. It doesn't seem to go in that direction with Ryan Day and Mark Pantoni and how they run that football program. But I've seen over the years you can't draft a safety that high. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And I always kind of wonder why. If that's the position you need and the best player on your draft board's a safety, go ahead and take him. But for 32 teams, I can't imagine there's not one that doesn't have Caleb Downs 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 on there. Who's the best of this? Now, there are going to be teams probably out of the top 10. They're like, there's no way we're getting him because there's no way he's dropping to us. But if you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and he's there, and you pick him up, you're turning things around extra quick on your defense.
And Caleb Downs, obviously, once he gets to the next level, he's going to have to continue to prove everything that I'm about to say about him being a generational talent and a defender that you can use in so many different ways. As you've looked at the way NFL and college teams have adjusted to passing attacks and spread formation and tempo and all those things, it's in large part because you have athletes like Caleb Downs who can eliminate all of that at once. If you don't have one, guess what? You're probably not a top 10 or a top 20 defense. And whether you need to use him in the box, whether you're dropping him back in coverage, whether you want to use him to blitz, we've already seen him do all of those things. First for Jim Knowles, or first for Nick Saban, then Jim Knowles, and now another system with Matt Patricia. Like, none of it fazed him.
Yep.
And everyone's like, this guy can learn in a second what we want to do and how we can use him in a variety of different ways to make the Ohio State defense better. He has no problem adjusting. He has no problem doing any assignment that you ask him to. And I know that the NFL draft value guide will say you should not take a safety that high. You blow it up when there's someone who's an exception to the rule. I don't think that he will go number 1, but I think if you gave every general manager, scout, front office personnel that truth serum, they would say that the prospect that they want most, that they view as the most can't-miss prospect right now, is Caleb Downs.
And I understand if you're drafting number 1 and you need a quarterback, I understand taking a quarterback. If it's a supposed can't-miss guy.
Is Mendoza
I don't think anybody is saying Fernando Mendoza is that. So if I'm sitting there and I'm the Las Vegas Raiders and the best player on the board is there, I would take him. I don't care about position. Like, if Saquon Barkley, who went number 2, is the best player, I'm taking them. And the thing with Caleb Downs, too, is I believe he's bust-proof. Like, even if he doesn't end up being the best player in this draft, you're getting, barring health, 10 to 15 years of Pro Bowl quality play. So I don't get that. Now, the Raiders are going to take Mendoza. But almost everybody has the Jets at number 2 taking Arvell Reese, and I love Arvell Reese. I've loved Arvell Reese since I saw him play in high school, but you only have 1 year of production from Arvell Reese at Ohio State. And even then, some people will tell you that production dropped off at the end of the year when the temperature got turned up a little bit. If I'm the Jets and I'm sitting there at 2, there is no way I take Arvell Reese over Caleb Downs.
I know Baker well enough that he was going to go there because I have a mock draft in front of me that has Mendoza 1, Reese 2 to the Jets, Francis Mauyoga, the offensive tackle from Miami, going 3 to the Cardinals, Ruben Bain going 4th to the Titans, then Carnell Tate going 5th to the Giants. The Browns at 6 take Spencer Fano, the offensive tackle out of Utah. And while they do need tackle help, I'm looking and seeing Caleb Downs going 7 to the Washington Commanders, and I go, Cleveland, don't you dare. I know they need a ton of offensive help, and I'd like to see him get Carnell Tate over everybody else because of the desperate need they need at wide receiver.
Yep.
But if Caleb Downs is sitting there looking at you at 6 and you don't take him, especially with Denzel Ward, and the issues you have in your secondary are injury histories of a lot of the guys, that he would come in there and help alleviate a lot of that because he's young. And he can command it. One of the best things I saw from him, Austin, this year, Caleb Downs, was when you would see replays or you look at all 22, it plays that he was on the outside of, he'd be pointing and yelling, and you could see him command a defense on the field, I think is so important.
I think he became undervalued, which sounds crazy because NFL scouts and general managers that I just talked about have been raving about him for years, and they would point to all the plays that he makes that he doesn't make. And statistically, I can get it around the country. You're looking at the box score and saying, well, if this guy is such a generational prospect, why doesn't he have 15 tackles in every game? Why doesn't he have 12 interceptions this season? Why hasn't he forced a billion fumbles? Well, because no one wants to throw on him, because he's aligning everyone else on Ohio State's defense. He's taking away half the field basically just by where he shows up. A lot of the things he makes, the plays he makes, are to put his teammates in better position. The things that you're talking about, Reeser, he just has such a great feel for the game and a knack for the game. And he's also not alone because he was playing on a defense that had other aliens like Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese and had Caden Curry gobbling up tackles. And, every quarterback that had to come to the line of scrimmage and identify where number 2 was on every given snap would dictate where the football might be going. So some of that stuff would show up. Some of them would just be, I remember 3 or 4 passes broken up that he was flying 15 yards away from the football to get to them. It's like, well, yeah, it didn't go as an interception, but that was going to be a catch for any other team against any other defense at any other time.
And Austin, you get to see every game from a press box vantage. I got to see a handful of games this year at Ohio Stadium, and I don't think you can appreciate Caleb Downs until you've seen it from that view where you can watch everything, or as Reese mentioned, in all 22, because there's so many things, and sometimes his read and his anticipation that you're never going to see on a TV camera.
Right.
Maybe they'll catch it on a camera angle and they'll show it in a replay, but it's just super impressive. All the things he does that affect the play that you'll never see, even if he didn't make the play.
I think the prime example of that, and the one that I'll never forget, is Texas driving in the red zone, down to the 1, and Caleb blows up the play. He doesn't make the tackle, right? Lathan Ransom cleans it up, the 7-8 yard loss, but no one triggers the way Caleb Downs does. He had a split second to do it. They're on the 1 yard line, on the brink of a critical touchdown. Triggers, bounces that play to the outside. A teammate comes in and cleans it up and puts it on the ground. But that's the type of play that you're getting, the type of player, the type of effort, intelligence across the board that you'd have with Caleb Downs. I don't think that's going away.
Combine starts next week. You've got the NFL draft in Pittsburgh at the end of March. We've got some real breaking NFL news and 3 things coming up next. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then they help you do more with it. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
This Buckeye Football Impact Report is brought to you locally by Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse. On the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Ohio State football Impact Report.
One of the areas that Ohio State had to address was replacing some experienced depth in their secondary, namely at the cornerback spot with the loss of Davison Igbinosun. Head coach Ryan Day talks about adding experienced players such as Cam Calhoun, who comes from both Utah and Alabama.
We felt like we needed to, add some guys who have played before, and Cam Calhoun is somebody who's done that. He played high school ball with Jermaine, so that gave us, again, some senior presence there. And then Dominic Kelly is somebody who, when you watch his film, we're really excited about his transition. He can cover at a high level, very intelligent player, and he has 3 years left. So to me, that was exciting to get somebody young into the program like this. So there'll be a lot of competition there. Good combination of some older, experienced guys and some young, talented guys.
This report brought to you by Safelite Auto Glass on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield. Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Buckeye fans, choose chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes those moments when you choose to rise above the noise and choose chill even better. Coors Light is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, so crack one open and take a sip. Coors Light, choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado, beer.
For over 37 years, Buckeye Nation has known Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse for serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks are a staple in Columbus, with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. And just like the Buckeyes, we strive for excellence and an experience like no other. Hyde Park is proud to introduce the newly added wine room at our downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining surrounds you, creating the ideal setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Around here, it's all-wheel drive all year round, and Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone. Now through March 2nd, you can get $5,000 customer cash on remaining new 25 Tundras. Or get 0.99 APR financing on Tundra plus $1,000 TFS APR cash. With approved credit through TFS, excludes TRD Pro. APR cash must be applied to deal. For complete details, go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And you can clip and save more with digital coupons in the Kroger app. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's always easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
And now you can enjoy free delivery on orders of $50 or more with your digital coupon. Place your order today. Restrictions apply. See coupon for details. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My best advice to you when hiring a lawyer for your injury case is simple. If you know court personnel, ask them who they'd hire. They know. If you know an insurance adjuster, ask them. They know. And then ask them about us. Ask them about Morgan & Morgan. They know. I look forward to talking to you soon. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm for the people.
Injured? Dial Pound Law.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
We're hiring at Don's Garage Doors. No experience? No problem. We provide full training, a brand new van, top-of-the-line tools, a gas card, and steady jobs with weekly pay. This isn't just a job. It's a career with real growth, great pay, and job security. Our team members go from training to 6 figures, and we're ready to help you do the same. Don't wait. Apply now at donsgaragedoors.com.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group. How much income will you need to retire? Let us help make sure you reach your financial goals. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
Hey there, friends. It's Bo Bishop here. You know High Bank for their award-winning spirits, but the food deserves just as much love. Enjoy happy hour with friends, brunch with family, and dinner that never misses. Make your reservation today at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
Bo's not in today. Eric Reeser, Austin Ward, Ryan Baker with you on this President's Day. If Bo were here, he would ask me about the Daily Fan Poll, which before the show, because Twitter was broken, I agreed to post it at 971 The Fan on Twitter for Bodie, who's leaving. He's here since 4 in the morning. He's got to wrangle Bob and Tito every morning. So, like, 2 hours of content for him probably feels like 5 hours dealing with those two. So I actually just did it. The Daily Fan Poll asks, what do you make of the Big Ten's 2014 college football playoff proposal? Your options are love it, like some parts of it, hate all of it. Right now, 66% hate all of it. 26% like some parts of it, which is where I'm at. And then just over 8% love it.
It's funny. It reminds me, this Daily Fan Poll, of Stuart Mandel standing up at Tony Petitti's press conference in Vegas last summer and saying, I did a informal poll. Research shows that nobody likes what you're doing and your playoff formats. And Tony Petitti's like, huh? Like, how many people responded?
What's your sample size?
What's your sample size on that? Our research doesn't bear that out. I had 2,700 people vote on this Twitter poll. It's like, all right, I bet that Tony Petitti has got more feedback than even on our fan poll, which reaches millions and millions of people.
Right now, I posted the thing a minute ago. We've got 13 votes at 971 The Fan on Twitter, and 53% of those 13 votes hate it.
Yeah, send that straight to Rosemont.
There's our focus group there, Commissioner.
And it's going to grow.
Yes.
Can vote all day.
All day at 971 The Fan on Twitter, at 971thefan.com is the website. The breaking news, kind of breaking, I think we all saw this coming. The Dolphins release Tyreek Hill. I think last time you saw him was in September when he destroyed everything in his knee.
Yeah, they've released everyone today, it looks like.
Bradley Chubb as well.
The Westbrook Akine, the wide receiver, and someone else I saw as well.
For Tyreek, his release is going to save the Dolphins $22.8 million against the salary cap. I think the last domino in this would be Tua. Mm-hmm. And if they figure out a trade partner sometime in the next week with the NFL scouting combine.
Surely they won't. You're just going to have to bite the bullet, I think.
The fact that people keep thinking they're going to find somebody to take him without having to pay for most of it it's as absurd as the Cardinals thinking the same thing with Kyler Murray. Like, they're not playing. If you're trying to win football games next year, as I hope the Cleveland Browns are.
It's an easy swap. Those two.
But they're not going to win anything then with them. So if you're trying to get a quarterback, wouldn't the idea be to get somebody who will help you win football games?
Well, that would probably be optimal.
The smart thing to do, right?
I don't know. Makes too much sense, Reeser. I think you're asking for just a bit too much.
I mean, they still have Quinn Ewers, so maybe he's their guy. They're not worried about the assets in return or whatever they have to get to or give up to get somebody to take to.
I think the mom slayer Zach Wilson too.
He's still in the NFL. Good for any of them for pulling an NFL paycheck.
Jeff Halfway's got to be like, I didn't know that I was going back to Boston College. Like, just have to restart here. What is happening?
He's got to be like, come on, Malik, come join me in South Beach.
Kind of, longing for the weather in Green Bay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, so first thing for me, taking a deeper dive into this Canadian curling controversy with Saturday night, the Canadian women's team accused by match officials of a double touch violation in their match against Switzerland. The Canadian curlers, I guess, according to the Associated Press, looked incredulous and angry. One of them got a verbal warning from the governing body World Curling one day after that took place, which I guess they got a verbal warning. The men's side did because one of their curlers went into an expletive-laced tirade. The organization opted to deploy 2 officials to monitor how players release their stones during the session in the men's competition after this kind of came out. And I guess they don't have video review for this.
No, because it is, as I've mentioned, a game of honor. Like, you officiate.
But you've got thousands of cameras in attendance, and you've got thousands of angles, or at least a dozen angles of this double touch. And they're not going to use that?
It would be easy to do that in the Olympics because you have more cameras available. The reason that you don't have officials monitoring every bonspiel or every championship in curling is because you have multiple sheets of ice going at once, and because not cheating is the whole point. That's like golf. You call it on yourself, and everyone, the whole operation depends on you being able to trust your opponent. And a lot of it, there's very few things that you can actually do in curling that would violate the rules. Double touching, with touching the stone again after it crosses the hog line, or burning the stone by touching it with your broom.
The hog line is incredible.
I'm gonna just ambush you guys with it here.
I'm okay with it. This is the time of the year.
There's almost nothing that you can do that breaks the rules. Like, there are only a handful of them that exist. So you shouldn't be needing video review, but they have it. And all that's actually going to do is wind up embarrassing Canada, which, if that's the end result, I'm fine with that.
First thing out of me, the Buckeye baseball team. They started this weekend down in Florida. They took on St. Louis, and this is from our buddy Tyler Danberg. Ohio State earns its first opening day series sweep since 2019 with those 3 wins over St. Louis. The Buckeyes head to Memphis to take on Louisiana Tech and Memphis this Friday. So congratulations to Coach Hare and the Buckeye baseball team.
Second thing out of me, you've got USA with a 2-0 lead on Sweden with 7 minutes left to go in the second period of their semifinal matchup.
I'm excited to have one more day with my parents in town before they head back to Texas and I guess warmer weather. I mean, it's been really nice for the last few days, but it's been great to have them around and playing with Liberty over the weekend. And maybe we'll have to find the right spot. I'll pick you guys' brain for dinner tonight.
Bo talks all the time about how it seems like it's easier in hockey with finding that guy and developing them. And I think this kind of goes back to the Caleb Downs talk as well. The top 6 scorers at the Olympics are all number 1 overall picks. Connor McDavid, Macklin Celebrini, Yuri Slafkovsky, Sidney Crosby, Austin Matthews, and Nathan McKinnon. And I know there's not as many positions as hockey, but sometimes you just take the best player. It's going to work out in the end.
Are you also meaning that for the NFL?
Yeah.
For maybe the Cleveland Browns at 6? Because that discussion, if Caleb or Carnell at 6 is going to give us months to go off of. We have got to go as the Jake Diebler radio show comes your way next. Austin, it was good for me. How was it for you?
Oh, fantastic.
All right, bud. Thanks so much for joining us today on this program. Bo's back Wednesday. It's Baker and me tomorrow, Bishop and Friends, 9 a.m. right here on The Fan.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays from 3